Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. This is Mark, your humble host. This is Trucking Answers, and today we're going to be talking about this 65 mile an hour speed limit that's going to be imposed on everybody. All right, everybody, are you ready for it? Are you ready to set your truck slower? I don't know if you are or not. Maybe. You might be. Anyway, look, that's what we're going to talk about. This guy got fired, driver, I think it's a guy, right? For refusing to drive in bad weather. They had to rehire him through ocean, all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of things coming up. Hours of service, everything is coming up. We are going to talk about all of it as we go along today. All right. So I hope you all enjoy it. And we are going to get right into it with these goofy senators. What the heck are they thinking about? You know, I don't understand what these senators are doing because, the 65 mile an hour thing going on, I just don't get it, really. I really don't get it. So, Senator Chris Coons, Senator Johnny Isakson, who the heck is that? Nobody even knows who that is. So, either way, those two people, I don't know. Those two people are the ones that are doing this stuff. It doesn't make any sense, really. All right, I think I had a wrong click there. So is that the reason that there's nobody on here yet? There might be people coming soon. I don't know. If not, we're going to do this show myself today. Of course, I have no idea what I'm doing here as usual, and that is a huge problem, as normal for me. Do we have to stop it and restart the whole thing over? Maybe. Maybe not. It's going to be a disaster today at 1 p.m. I can't believe it, of course. So that says it's good. We got one person. Did a notification go out? What happened? Holy mackerel. Did I mess something up as usual? It's certainly possible. There we go. All right. I guess I didn't have the thing set correctly. Randy Trucker is here. I was first because I guess I didn't set it correctly. All right. The Rooster's here finally. All right. Chrome Daddy. Yeah, I messed up the settings, but I'm here anyway. As usual, I'm not good at this, but look, we're going to talk about this senator. What about this goofy senators that are going to 65 miles an hour? Holy mackerel. Stephen Taylor is here. Luke 1234 just crossed the George Washington Bridge. Oh, nice. Took 3 hours. That's good. I'm glad they charged for that too. You know, that's the thing of it, right? Yeah, no notification. I think I had some checkbox wrong, so I think I messed that up today as usual. What's new about that? Tina Robertson, hey, what's going on? Nobody's going to be hiring me to do their web things, that's for sure. Cassius King Trucking is here. Kane is here. Thank you. Yeah, the notification just went out. I don't know what I did. Who knows what I do over this place? Clay, yeah, the notification is going good. Jim, yeah, not first. I was first today because I messed the whole thing up. All right. See what's happening, Jim. Dragon 51 made it. That's good. Brent in Florida. Notification went out. All right, good. Finally. What's up? Yeah, who knows what YouTube does? I'm sure it's something I did, believe me. Joseph is here. Thank you. Jesus Peace. Thank you very much. Felix from Dreamstar Trucking. All right, well, you should tell us about that. Light Bright, what's happening? I hope you're doing good today. Corey from San Antonio, thanks for being here. Thank you for the knowledge. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Truck in there. Mac Junior Trucking. Got it right. Christina. Oh, right. Good. Well, look, I'm sure I messed something up. Kenneth P., thanks for being here from Michigan. It's super hot today. If your air doesn't work, go in and get it fixed, everybody, right? It's crazy out there. Todd, thanks for being here. What's going on? Kenneth, love the new scenery background and microphone. Yeah, the scenery, well, that is a free picture that I got. But, yeah, I'm glad that the mic is working out good. I wanted to get good sound. People always complain about the sound as well. They should, so I wanted to get a good mic. I'm glad it is working out, really. Jonathan Diaz, 65 miles an hour. Yeah, Johnny Isakson, who's a senator. He's a Republican from Georgia, and Chris Coons is a Democrat from Delaware. Want you to go 65. It's Senate Bill 2033. I'm going to do a video about that this week as well to get all the information. There's more info in the description as well. They want all trucks 65 if you have an electronic limiter. If you don't, you do not have to retrofit it. It says it right in the bill. Not forced to retrofit older trucks, okay? But if you do, if it's in the truck, you're going to have to do it if this bill passes. By the way, Johnny Isakson is 74 years old, never driven. Chris is 58, never driven. He's an attorney. Okay, Mr. Flores in traffic in El Cajon Pass. Not great. Alan in Orange, Texas. Man, could it be hotter down there? I doubt it. The dew point is 70 degrees. You're very oppressive. Kenworth Ryder. I guess this politician wants trucks governed like Canadian trucks. Yes, these two, and it's across the aisles there. Democrat and Republican both want that going there. So, Chris, delivering a load in Louisville. Thank you. You like the channel? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Alf is here. Just got loaded in Aurora, not that far away. Where does that load go? When I get a chance, check out ARD Trucking from South Carolina. ARD. All right, I never heard of them. I'm writing that down. ARD. Is that a small place? Those are harder to find out about, Jason, good morning from California. And high gas taxes. Oh, I filled up at 342. The wife's car, 342 last week. So, not too bad. So, stuck in Cincinnati. I'm just here. Ray is stuck at Cincinnati in line to unload. Just here so I don't get fined. Yeah, you don't want to get fined, especially in a holiday week like this. Shauna, what exactly happens if a person signs up for a CDL school with the agreement of signing a contract with the company? The person obtained their CDL and then decided not to fulfill the job contract. Well, if you signed agreeing to work there, you're going to have to work there or pay the school. That's the thing. They can't throw you in jail or break your knees or anything. They don't send Guido to your house. But if you agree to it and signed for it, you'll have to fulfill your end of it, or they'll start sending you letters for the money. They could sue you. I heard some places do and some don't. It depends. So it's possible that could happen. If you get a better job, it's still worth paying for. You did get some value. So if you get your license through it, you got value. Maybe you should pay for it, really. But what will happen? They'll just send you letters about it and might sue you, might not. But if you assigned it, you'll have to pay for it. Maybe the notification are going 65. Yeah, maybe the senator didn't want these to go out. Randall Stevens, what's happening? Headed for home time now. Good. Need to govern the idiots driving the four-wheelers. Look, if 65, Joseph, is 65 is safe, it's safe for everybody, right? Just wouldn't need a speed limit. Just govern all the vehicles. Cash is King Trucking at 79 in Wisconsin. I mean, it's 88 here. I was just looking. Yikes. Devin just happened to doing a reset and got the notification. Oh, well, good. Thanks for coming in on the reset. If they want to, Kenneth says if they want to control the speed of the trucks, what are they giving us in return? Their undying gratitude. Ever heard of ALTL out of Hudsonville? No. Bill Ard's around 130 trucks, I believe. Oh, really? That's bigger than I was thinking. Some people always ask about a company and then it'll have like 4 trucks or something, and so they don't have that much information out there. Kim, hey Mark, your truck's in the shop. Yikes! So driving a day cab, well, as long as they pay you, money is money no matter how you get it. Combat trucker starting today, I'll be raised a fuel tax and smoking age to 21. Yeah, they're talking about that too in a lot of places, but Illinois did raise some of their stuff, right? And so taxes go up, and you got to be 21 to get the smokes, and you got to be 21 to be able to afford them too, right? Shoot Rooster, maybe you shouldn't be a politician if you're over 65. Well, look, I wanted to ask this question. This guy, he announced, this is Johnny Isaacson from Georgia. Okay, he's been a politician for many, many years, as you can imagine. He announced in 2015 that he has Parkinson's disease. Now, the Mayo Clinic says that cognitive problems and dementia are part of Parkinson's as you keep it longer, and you're older. What do you think about that? I mean, if somebody has a medical condition that could affect their mental, ability to think and stuff, should they be governing for the country? It's a legit question. People always say, "Oh, Mark, it's not fair. Parkinson's." Okay, but if you have a mental problem, should you be setting laws that all of the country has to fulfill? It's a legitimate question to ask. It isn't. People can't get emotional about it. It's legitimate. This person has a problem that he announced that 4 years ago, and he's 74. Should he be making laws for the country? What do you think about that? Why? I'm sure nobody will ask that because the press would come down. I'm asking it. I don't think it's right, to do that if you have a mental problem. Todd has been driving locally in Z. What's a Z? I think they really like the truck speed at 55. Cars only 70 like California. Oh, well, like the 70s with the Nixon and all that? Right. Remember? What am I asking? Right. The cars used to have 55 in a square. Semis too, right? So you knew 55 was it. Love it. Luke, like 68. That 3 miles an hour passes me all the time. George Whipplemeyer, love it. Good morning, Monday morning. I hope all is well. It's always great over here. Christina, what if you get kicked out of truck driving school for being unhappy? Well, that's an interesting thing. Ironically, I was just talking to an England driver about this. And, I'm not a lawyer, all right? But I think if they don't let you fulfill the contract, that's different than if you go through the school, basically, and then don't do your part. So if they're not doing their part, that would be my argument. I'm not a lawyer, right? But that would be what I would argue and say, hey, I don't know what to tell you. You may need a lawyer letter if something comes. That's around a couple $100 when an attorney writes back for you. But if you get kicked out, they're the one throwing you out. You're like, I'll stay, but if you're throwing me out, that would be my argument about it. So I think it's closer on that one. I would personally, I wouldn't pay it. I'd make them come and get it. So that would be me. Especially if they are kicking you out because, they think you're a problem or something like that. Steven is sitting in a dock in Memphis. Wow. Shauna, could you lose your CDL? No, you cannot lose your CDL. The trucking school cannot take your license back. Okay, that's your license. Or ruin your credit, maybe, by not fulfilling this job contract, but do pay off the debt. Look, if you pay off the debt, there's nothing they can say about it. Credit, who cares about your credit, right? Like Dave Ramsey said, nobody cares. Don't worry about that. Your CDL, though, forget it. That's yours. If you have that in your pocket, the school's going to say, we'll take it, we'll call the state. They can't do anything about it. It's your license. Nothing they can do about it. Tell them, yeah, go right ahead and see what happens. Love the show, Sam. I am. I'm a young recent business school grad going into the corporate side of freight. Oh, nice. And I've been learning a lot from about a driver-friendly business model. Well, thank you. And, if you have any questions, let me know. But try to keep it driver-friendly, and you won't have any problem getting drivers. Todd is on your way to Jasper, Indiana. Wow, my wife will be down at Holiday World here pretty soon, so maybe you could say hello to her. That's a big engine plant down there. Kim, no worries, your truck's in the shop for PM. Oh, good, I'm glad they gave you something else to drive, at least for the day anyway. Louise, 10-hour break in New York, and remember the live video. You can't miss it. Thank you very much. It's not must-watch YouTube show, that's for sure. I appreciate it, though, believe me. Jimmy, what's today's topic? I hope they don't pass the 65 miles an hour. Well, these two senators, right, one from Georgia, Republican, and Democrat from Delaware, co-sponsoring Senate Bill 2033. It's called, here's the official name, you'll love it, Cullum-Owings Large Truck Safe Operating Speed Act of 2019. Love it. I had to write that all down, right? That's where they want all trucks governed at 65 if you can do it. It does say not forced to retrofit older trucks. If you don't have the ability to electronically govern your truck, you will not have to install anything to have it governed. Anyone rented a tractor for personal use? You want to buy a 53-foot trailer and build a trailer home? Wow, I don't know if places will do that. If they'll rent you for personal use, maybe if you have a CDL. Depending on the weight, trucks should drive accordingly. Common sense, yeah, of course. Right, we don't need this 74-year-old senator with Parkinson's to tell us about that, though. The White Knight. What are restricted automatic drivers getting paid the same? Yes. I haven't seen anybody not paying the same money. If there's somebody that doesn't pay the same with the restriction, I'd like to hear about it. But I'm not seeing any difference in the pay at all. You're still doing the same job. I drive an automatic truck, okay, but and I don't have the restriction, but I would expect to get paid the same money either way. I'm doing the same job, just not shifting. Nomad Trucker, what's going on? Turntable Trucker. Done a video about trying to get your trucking career started. Referred to the page for info. Thank you very much. I said common sense. Yeah, the government is not the one saying that, so believe me. Non-restricted. If you get you can get a restriction on your license for automatics. It's an E on there, and you're required to only have an automatic truck. So, but haven't seen anybody paying any different. What up, you Miss Mark doing research in Jeffersonville, Ohio at Love's and getting the trailer brakes done at the Love's. Oh, great. That's the, what, in Memphis? Jeffersonville, isn't there you're in Memphis then, right? That's where the Love's is on the 16 there. Corey, which politician doesn't have a mental problem? I kind of agree with that. But this is a legitimate question. If this guy's got Parkinson's and the Mayo Clinic, which people can look up, one of the side effects of it is cognitive problems and dementia. So, and he's 74. Should he be making laws at all? It's a legitimate question. Nobody will ask it because the press will be all over it, but I'm asking. Nomad Trucker, we asked about firearms. He put a video up. All right. I think it should put a term limit on politicians, drain the swamp. Yeah, all of them should go. But they do actually have a term limit, though. We can vote them out anytime we want to. That's the problem with it. We can term limit every one of them. When I happen to have a short list of best companies for a new driver, you have your CDL, and the tanker and doubles. Nice. Going to get hazmat. Good. Get all the endorsements. And for a good place to start, on my website, truckinganswersnation.com, I have a list of, companies that are doing it better. Check into those companies to get started. Cash is King Trucking. I've seen a 48-foot trailer used for an office. Yeah, you could do that. I just don't know if you can rent the truck. These days, if you ain't a bit crazy, you're not normal. Okay, that's true. You almost need to survive, right? It's not the speed that makes it unsafe. It's the person. Exactly. The difference in speed, they did big studies about this, and the more of a difference in speed, the more accidents there are. That's the real problem of it. Everybody should go the same speed. So if they were going to be honest, at least I'd respect them if they said 65 for everybody, because that would actually be safer if they were all limited to the same speed. That would be the safest way to do it. They don't want that, though. Christina, you've got it recorded. That will be interesting, on depending what state it is, you may or may not even be able to use that. So it just depends. Everybody's trying to be a Mr. Magoo today. Holy mackerel, Mr. Magoo. Restricted automatic drivers get the same as non-driver. Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen any difference. Because, look, all it is shifting. And, the backing and all, it's all still the same. So I have not seen any difference anywhere in any pay. Were the difference. Any news about that England where the woman was raped? I don't have any further news other than what I said last week. The case is moving along. When I see England settle or whatever, I'll bring that out there. Oh, and the FMCSA said they're not going to have an hours of service announcement either. That reminds me. And so I put that out right away. So, because they said June, not June. Love it. Mad Maldy, thanks for being here. TJ Jones and the Bull of the Woods. Love it. Mark, what's going on? Going good here. Trucker John Gardenhire. John McCade of brain cancer and he's still passing laws. Right, because nobody will say anything like, hey, should this person still be passing laws? That's considered, that's not right to say. Yeah, it actually is right to say that. I mean, okay, what if he was a driver and, couldn't see? So, we got to let blind people it's offensive. Come on. These are legitimate questions. It isn't some kind of offensive question about him. It's a legitimate question. Man, Maldy's on vacation all week. Look, I know a lot of people are going to take the week off. Not me, but a lot of people will. And you got to work here, probably everywhere, day before and day after a holiday to get paid for the holiday. No calling off. So everybody will be at work those days. Kim has a problem with the third-party school you went to for Sierra England. There you go, trying to collect. They're one that collects it. And they were supposed to pay them, and Sierra England is trying to collect the tuition. They're not great about it. Yeah. Shauna, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you have any problems, you can always write to me. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice, but that's my advice on that. And no matter what, your CDL is yours to keep. So always, everywhere, get your hard copy as soon as you can. It's yours. Mad Maldy's going to grab some off the load board Friday and head out Sunday. What do you think that'll pay? That's a good question. What kind of trailer and what will it pay? Cash is King, you're riding shotgun today. Really? So you can listen and comment. Your wife is driving back to Minnesota? I didn't know she could drive a truck. Call your reps. That's true. Oh, I guess you're staying in your car. Although I assume you drive your truck even on vacation. Sad days of trucking with the death of the glider kit. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to, they're not going to be that many more. How many were there? How many, are there any, is there anybody on here right now driving a glider? Maybe there would be. Would this bill be nationwide? Yes. This is a nationwide federal bill that they are considering to limit commercial vehicles, 26,001 pounds and over, to 65 if they're allowed to be electronically limited. So it would be nationwide, and you'd be required to comply or you wouldn't pass an inspection. They were talking about speed limiters 2 years ago, but could you imagine the traffic? That's true, but look, they brought this up, and they're, it's out there, so I'm putting it out there. This is current right now. And they have this great, name that runs right off the tongue. The Cullum-Owens Large Truck Safe Operating Speed Act of 2019. It's easy name to remember. Sad part is the mass majority of government has never been in a truck that like these two. Although Johnny Isaacson's dad drove for Greyhound in like the 50s. But he was in real estate, and the other guy's a lawyer. And the other guy, Chris Coons, has basically been a lawyer in the public sector most of his career. Look for trucks that can't be retrofitted to go the way of glider kits. They assume they'll be off the road soon. That's what they said. There aren't that many that you couldn't electronically control, really. Because it's just the old technology is not around much. Senators want reduced speeds and brokers want to load sooner. Yeah, you got to tell them, look, I can't even get it there when you want because of the speed limit. Todd McGuire is switching from local in Chicago for 10 years to Chicago going back on the road, really, for Schuster. After companies doing a better, kids gone need a change from Chicago. All right, let me know how it goes. They have pretty nice, like their trucks over there or whatever. So let me know how it goes there at Schuster. Tell them Mark sent you, although it won't do any good. They don't know who I am. Dennis Conley. DOT inspections and drivers doing a Fifth and First Amendment audit during the inspection. What's your opinion? Well, what do you mean by that? Drivers doing a Fifth and First Amendment audit. What do you mean by that? I'll govern your truck at 65 when cars are governed. If they came out and said all vehicles, I'd at least respect that because that would make safety sense. No matter what the speed is, if everybody travels the same speed, that's the safest. Acceleration rules. Hello? Chance, what's up, world? Luke is debating between laying over at a Flying J or TA in Elkton. Well, I always took the J because they had better pizza, I thought. I like that pizza out there. Michael, they want to govern trucks at 65. That's a safety hazard. How about trucks use 2 right lanes, make it 2 left lanes to stop, slow down from incoming traffic? They don't make, of course, they never make any sense. They want the left lane open for cars so that they can go 85, 90 miles an hour, so they can get to whatever they're doing. The shipper will request more team drivers. They can't get teams as it is. Holy mackerel. The sign-on bonuses everywhere. Nobody can get a team. It's crazy. Let's see. I'm lost again. Of course, Live PD in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Really? Am I on Live PD somewhere? Did I get on that show? Alex. So will this change the CDL handbook in California if the DMV? I wondered that too. Will the speed limit in states go up? No, there'll probably be a provision. I didn't read it all. It's like 1,000 pages or whatever. It's hundreds of pages. I didn't read it all actually to see, is there can states do it lower? They may set this, I'm not sure if it's a speed limit or a maximum. Either way, I'm sure California will get some kind of exemption for that. Christina's in Indiana. Love it. I-35 through Dallas, dangerous like crazy construction. There's so much construction, and some construction person just got hit here by a car. Car's going like 65 and a 40 or something. That's crazy. You may only be governed at Stevens governed at 66, but trucks should be governed, so should the motoring public. I agree. At least make it like legitimate where everybody's governed. Bobtail up to 75. Oh, that's cruising in a bobtail. Being able to rest your hand on the shifter is priceless. Yeah, that's true. That was always a nice thing. I love the vibration, right? Mr. B, very stupid. Traffic accidents will go up. I totally agree. These desk jockeys need to stop making rules. That's exactly correct. Michael is 65 on the throttle and 68 on the cruise. So to pass somebody, you got to hit the cruise to get past them, I guess. Manuals are dinosaurs and won't be around in 5 years. There won't be that many. We're getting all automatics in. No more manuals are coming in. And we're probably 75% autos now. And we've got some older manuals that are going to be going out. They have like 500 something on them. They're out. They'll be out before the end of this year. And there won't be that many manuals left. Cash is King Trucking. Can't drive a truck with high blood pressure. You can pass laws with any disease. You can, but should you be able to? Maybe these people should have to, if they're going to pass a trucking law, they ought to pass a DOT physical. Kim, you're paying CR England alone, and CR England was supposed to pay the third-party company, but they never did. So now both places are trying to collect on the same loan. You need a lawyer letter, I think. You need to get a lawyer for $200 to write somebody a letter and tell them to back off. That would cost less than you're paying for your school loans. Chris, I think they'll keep postponing the new HOS rules until everyone forgets about it and then quietly leave it. Well, everybody's on top of it. I mean, he said he was getting bombarded. Martinez said he was getting bombarded with questions, so they're on it. But look, it's going to be July 31st. They said it's the new date now for announcement. Maybe. He actually said that's not set in stone. Then it's a 47-day comment period. Okay, that takes us into September. Then he said there's some more rulemaking that has to go on before it's published. But he actually thought with all these groups that he thinks are going to sue them, he's looking at 2020 for new hours of service rules. That's what he said. So that's what I say out there. Look for 2020 before the rules change, sometime late winter. I can't get a doctor to clear me to drive a truck because you're an amputee. It depends how many things you're missing. We have a guy missing a couple of fingers, but I don't know exactly what all you can be missing and still drive. Christina, Sierra England kept your diploma when you got yours in 2005. You get a diploma from Sierra England, but did they don't keep your CDL though, right? They send you home to get your hard copy. That's what you want. Once you get your hard copy, that's what you need. Blue Lion, what's up? The topic is this law to pass for 65-mile-an-hour speed limit in all trucks that are electronic. Cash is King. Oh, we are in a rental Yukon. Oh, nice. Super sweet. White Knight, how much can you make being a trainer? You can make a $2,000. It's one of the highest checks that I've ever been shown. Not quite the highest, but there's an England driver, because I said, how much you guys make. They sent me the checks, and I always want 4 checks for that kind of money in a row, so you're not holding loads back. $2,300 a week. Not bad. I would say that's pretty good. Now, was he training? I don't know. But yes, you can make $2,000 as a trainer. Been running Wisconsin to Tampa and back all week. That's pretty good. Reverend Brian, hello, Mark. Have a blessed day. You as well, and everybody. Thank you very much. K-Dub the Milkman. I'm in a W900 glider with a cat. Nice. Sad to see them go. All I'm saying, look, and I like the W900L as well, but there are just not that many, right? Really, as trucking goes, there aren't that many, and it is sad to see them go. There's no excuse for that. What's a glider? Clay, what is a glider? That's a re-powered cab of a truck. They put an generally older engine in it to get past all these emissions and stuff. You could put a 99 engine in a new cab of a truck that gets sold, and it's generally cheaper, and you get past all the emissions. X-Load. Well, what I consider the biggest factor of a good company is the type of freight. There's a lot of little deliveries at hands-on lumping like Dollar Tree. No, it depends. A good company, it depends on you. What do you want to do? You want to be home every day? Then a good company is that. Do you like to run miles? Then a good company is long length of haul. Do you like doing stops? Some people like to do stops and don't like to drive 650 miles a day. So get a place that has a lot of stops. It depends. Each company depends partly on you, how often they'll get you home, what kind of truck they have, all that kind of stuff. Everything, all that goes into it. I have a list of questions on the website as well that you can look at and decide, okay, what all these things are important to me, and then you call around and you find a good company that fits you, because everybody doesn't fit in at places. I'll say I've been at my place a long time, but people come and they'll quit after 3 weeks and go, this is garbage, but it fits me, so I like it. It may not fit everybody. Caleb, we want to talk about this 65-mile-an-hour speed limit on these trucks. It's crazy. Old senators want speed limits. Probably because this guy's driving an old Cadillac at 45 miles an hour. I don't know. Need to be able to pass all the stupid prime trucks. Well, anybody can do that now. We've seen a kind of load board. The average miles pay is for $1.74 to $2.46 for drive-in. That's pretty good. Okay, so average $2, not bad. Yeah, what's the acronym? It doesn't look like it makes a good acronym. I'm surprised. COLTSOSA. Coltsasa. So it didn't make a good acronym. I'm surprised, really. I actually thought about that. I guess Marvin Keller says no to cheap freight. Good. Shout outs from Worcester. Randall, it would be a nightmare having all trucks limited to 65. 65 for one is not 65 for another, right? One will be at 65.1 and holding up the fast lane for 8 miles, just like today, except times 3,000. Yeah, look, they think it's going to be great. It's going to be horrible. It's sad about the glider kits. Yes. California drivers would be happy at 65 an hour. That would be really great. Teaming is awesome. They just can't get people to team. They just can't get people to team. You can shine your tires with a greasy box if you eat your Flying J pizza. Look, that's not bad. Reverend Brian, Wisconsin behind the 8 ball should have done their research and spoke with Ohio in their previous split limit. We still split here in Indiana, especially when it came to the turnpike, but I agree. We're still splitting here, right? 5 off. Glad I made the show. It's hot in Phoenix, Arizona, 105. Yes, everybody should get water every day anyway, but certainly in this heat, don't get heat exhaustion or whatever. Michael, trucks on the Autobahn only allowed to go 50. There are, in Europe, the speeds are different for trucks. James, a Super 10 automatic. Holy mackerel. Can you imagine the disaster that would be? How slow would that be, considering how slow the automatics are now? Wow. It could move the little red button by itself in the front. $2,000 every week as a company team driver at Martin. You can make good money as a team as well, and that's why, it pays good. They can't get anybody to do it. And meaning, even you would admit, it's really tough to get teams that stay together. If two people come together as a team, I mean, you're golden in the industry. Oh my gosh. Trucker Beetle Bailey, we will not turn our trucks down. If the law passes, you'll be required to turn your trucks down, or they won't allow the trucks on the road. That's the problem with it. You're running new trucks over there. That'll be set there. 65 through Wyoming would be mind-numbing. Yes, we've all been there. K. Wayne, June 61st, that will be the announcement date. That's true. Steel Horse, hey, good to see you. You're excited about the new automatic. When can I get mine? It's coming to you soon, certainly. Land of the free and home of the governed. Yeah, free as long as you do what they tell you. Eric, off top, but as of 2020, should trainers ask for more pay now that we will be more of a demand? The training law changed for people that are in truck school, having people get their CDL. That is where the change is, but you should always be asking for pay, get what you're worth. If they get the rule through for 65, the diesel doctor in Effingham is going to be happy. Oh my gosh, that guy, he's older than Johnny Isaacson. That will be one happy dude, right? Because as soon as you pass the inspection or whatever, you'll be able to turn the truck back up. And if you could turn it back and forth from your phone or a laptop, which I assume you can, there's no reason drivers wouldn't do it. I'm governed off $65 smile every time I pass Prime. Yes, that's worth anything. The Prime is probably in favor of this. You know who's in favor of that? There's several trucking organizations that want this. The Truckload Carriers Association and stuff. I'm like, you can just govern your trucks anytime you want to. You don't have to go to the government. Christina, they kept your diploma from the truck school, but you kept your CDL and then was late on a physical, so you lost it. Tried to go back to another trucking school and they kicked me out. Well, I don't know about that, right? Losing it. So if you lost it, then you have a problem. But the diploma, I don't know if that means anything. Anybody that just got a diploma, do places ask you for the diploma from the truck school? I don't know. Nobody asked for mine. I don't even know that I got a diploma years ago, but I don't know about that. But if you have your CDL, it's your CDL. Go see if you call the state and see if you can take a physical and just reinstate your CDL and pay for the physical yourself. 421 at the mid to mega size companies, they're only ordering autos at the new trucks. They claim they have better fuel mileage and allows new drivers that can't shift a manual. Yes. They save clutches too. That's what they've said here. We're saving a ton of money on clutches. Do you know of any dedicated lanes around Gulfport? Not off the top of my head. I'm sure there's somebody like Ruan or all these places that people write to me about that are hiring there for dedicated runs, certainly. Good morning. Loading aluminum scrap in Arlington, Washington to Post Falls, Idaho. Extra sleep tonight. Yes, that's not bad. I consider Sierra England a puppy mill for student drivers. They don't treat them well, certainly in training. Marvin, cars can go 80 and cut in front of me with that space they have, and I'm governed at 85. At least they'll be pulling away from us, I guess. Kim Smith bought a bunch of Peterbilt gliders, really, and think like 10 or 20 of them. They bought like 100 of the long-nosed Pete's because they're going to stop making them. Oh, because that's what they run there. Amigo Jones. Where did I go off to? Okay, there. Everything just disappeared. I'm back. And I'm lost, of course. All right. They're like, wow, Mark, you're awesome at this. You have no idea what you're doing. The DOT Fifth Amendment audit during inspections of First Amendment audits is easier to understand by searching YouTube. I'll have to do that, right? I don't know what a Fifth Amendment audit during an inspection or a First Amendment audit. A First Amendment, Congress shall pass no law. Remember what that says, everybody. Congress shall pass no law. Red Wine 5. Hey, the Red Wine family hopes I have a great day. Thank you. I hope everybody has a great day. What do you think about J.B. Hunt's lease purchase? I don't know that much about it, but I'll tell you, forget it. Don't rent a truck from a company. Go buy the truck yourself. Never rent from the company. At Smith, they turned the trucks to 68. Yeah, it depends how they're set, right? So it depends on your gearing and what your best mileage would be at that gearing of the truck. Let's pray that cancer gets him. Well, we don't want to do that. I certainly wouldn't suggest that, right? We don't want anybody to die over a bill. All I'm suggesting is that, if you don't have your mental faculties, maybe you should retire. Texas used to split night times. Look, the sign was white and black too, right? It even had a split sign, day, night on the sign. Love it. Michael Muller, no, we don't wish that on anybody, certainly. May governs their trucks at 61, 62 on cruise, so you get the 62 there. Yeah, they're low too, right? I don't know if they're part of this, but companies can always govern their trucks at what they want. They don't have to go to the government and say, hey, make everybody govern their trucks, you know. Tina, you're governed at 65 and smile when you pass the prime. It's well worth it. Running around with viral bronchitis. Yikes. It's time to take some time off, right? The White Knight. Do you have 3 over-the-road companies that you make $2,000 weekly as a company, not lease driver? Well, not as a company driver. I mean, there are some where you can get close to that. It's tough. It's not as easy as people think to make $2,000 every week as a company driver. It just isn't. I don't make it. I don't even come close to it. You know, some people come close. On some weeks you might make 2, and then the next week you don't. But no, teaming is going to be it. Training, that's the way to do it. You can go into heavy haul or something unusual like that. You know, there are places to come 80, 90 plus every week, but 2,000 a week, it's tough to do. Johnny's doing 1,800 hauling automotive freight from Flint to Iowa. There's 1,800. That's pretty good too. Remember, the average person in America makes, what, 45 grand or whatever, just over all industries. So if you're doing better than that, that's not bad. 421, yellow, can't get people a team because they put you with a different person on every week out. Oh, I love that. Why would they do that? I mean, aren't they union? Where's the union on that? If a DM voluntarily terminated me, would that make it harder to get hired elsewhere? My DM wouldn't route me to their office to see a doctor and get a new medical card. Doc requested to see me. I don't know. It depends what they put on your DAC. But this kind of stuff here, it's exactly why I say get everything in writing. Do all this back and forth in writing on whatever device they use, either texting or Qualcomm, PeopleNet, whatever you have. Take a picture of every message that they send. I need to see a doctor. You know, I need to do this, I need to do that, and the message, whatever they respond back with, so that you have those for the next company to say, I don't care what they sent on the DAC, here's the actual messages that were sent, and that would help out a lot. Want to find an over-the-road company that offers good health benefits? It seems like companies don't offer good benefits. I don't know. You know, each one of those is individual as well. You have to call each one. I pay about $70 a week for health insurance for 2 people. It varies. Some are free. Some are $200, I found. It super varies in the cost, and it varies a lot in the coverage. That's certainly true. Trucker Hershey is late. Stupid company sent 70 trailers to park in a 50-spot lot, and others still coming to drop and trying to get one out. What the heck? Junior Schneider is terrible. Household goods miles at Schneider is enough reason to not work there. Jonathan, your trainer was a founding driver for Prime, well, Mr. Prime, and says it has gone down the rabbit hole more like the crapple. Yeah, it did. A lot of England used to be great, coast to coast, long distance, high pay. Yeah, that's exactly true. A lot of these companies start out great and go down the hole. Remember the old slogan, 55 saves lives? Oh, sure, absolutely. Absolutely. I had many cars that had the 55 in a box because it was set up, 55, so you could remember, only go 55. Schneider's 100% automatic. I didn't know that. That would be okay with me. You've been asked to look at Marvin Door and Window Company fleet. Marvin Door and Window fleet out of Minnesota. No. Christine, I tried, but I was a year overdue. If you've let it slip, then you're basically stuck. Right? If they won't let you, refresh it by getting a physical, it's just like going in with a car license, and that really stinks. Freight costs will increase with that lower speed. Already at slave wages, and they want to lower the pay more by lowering the speed. Well, look at it this way. It could increase the freight rates because they'll need more drivers. Drivers won't be able to get as far. In theory, the lower the speed, if everybody went to slower speed, the rate would go up because they would need more trucks, theoretically. Don't dump dogs. Call the shelter and get the animal. Most will get them. Yes, that's true. Is it still profitable to become an owner-operator? Well, there are some owner-operators on here that will be able to comment on that. I've never found it, to be for me. It's not for me. Company driver here. 421. Edward loves and has a dedicated route out of Gulfport, but you have to park the truck at the Loves. What does the Loves think about that? And then I go into the Loves and there's all these trucks parked there. That totally stinks. my company closed, hasn't paid me, taking truck back now. They closed. What company closed? Schneider is 63. That's even worse, right? Dirt Dog, we should just be required to drive whatever the truck speed limit is. Yeah, we should drive the speed limit. They owe you $4,000. Well, file with the state, of course, as they say. But if they're closed, you'll only probably get part of it. People will die over the new bill because it's stupid. Why do we get punished for the four-wheeler stupidity? Because they can do it. They have a much harder time. I don't think they actually could limit car drivers' speed where they would limit the car speeds to 65. That would never happen. People would be up in arms. But drivers, they're not going to do much about it. And this is supported by some trucking organizations, which is even crazier. 50 cents, Reverend, 50 cents for all miles to the truck after the second week and 5 cents after upgrade for 90 days. That's not terrible to start. A company driver should be at 70 cents. Some are, Marty. Some are at 70. It depends where you go. And it's not the mileage, right? It's a weekly pay. Not what you make a mile, because if you got $2 a mile, but they only gave you 300 miles a week, it wouldn't be great. Kenneth, what about owner-ops? Would they be governed at 65? Yes. Every commercial vehicle 26,000 pounds or over would be required to be governed at 65 if it is electronically allowed to be governed. So yes, owner-operators as well. I think the Smith Walmart account, I average $1,500 to $1,600 every week, and at least once a month hit $1,900. Yeah. So that's not $2,000, right? But I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's excellent money, but not quite $2,000. And every once in a while you get a spike. It's still $80,000 plus. Very, very good. Comical Trucker, the rape case was a 3-bunk truck, no witness. They don't all have 3 people in the 3-bunk trucks. What are my plans for the 4th? Not much happening here on the 4th. I got a clay bar kit. I may do the cars that day. So exciting news there. May wax the car. As always in the summer, I go wax the truck at least one time. So that will happen as well this summer. They're going to put owner-operators out of business with the new ELD settings by the end of the year. Yeah, it looks like that rule's not going to go into effect until next year. That's what that guy said, Martinez. That's what he said just last week. So expect the new rules late winter 2020. Heard there's another Blitz DOT inspection for September. Yeah, they do the brake check every year. That will be in September, which I'll get into as we get closer to that. But yes, there'll be a brake check blitz as well. This kind of thing, these blitzes, brake checks and that, your brake should always be working, right? I mean, you shouldn't, if you have a brake problem, get it fixed. It's not just for that, but anytime. Super safe. What I consider $1,650 a week as a company driver, as long as you're under dispatch, you get a guarantee. Yeah, I love a guarantee. I love a guarantee. So if you get $1,650 a week every week, even if they don't roll you, that's not too bad. Part of it depends on if you're gone and stuff like that. Or do I have to do 50 million stops or, go to New York City, which I wouldn't be, that impressed with. Michael, Kim, I average that every week on a general freight, once a month, 2,000. Yeah, so both of you doing pretty good. Went from making 45 cents with household goods, yikes, right, to making 65 to 70 with practical. That is a huge pay increase, don't you think? Comical Trucker, owners and lessors avoid fueling in Illinois. The new tax is 23 cents. Some states had some tax things that went into effect. As not an owner-operator, I didn't follow that closely, but a lot of states' laws go into effect today. You're going to see prices go up. Glenn, do I know much about the adverse conditions rule, especially if there's a collision? Yes. I did a video on the adverse conditions rule. It has to be something that was not available to you. It has to be information that was not available to you at the beginning of your trip. So an adverse condition is something that you didn't know about when you started your trip, whatever that is. Usually people use it for weather, and that's even questionable, but something like you come up to a stop in the road. All right, so that's something you didn't know about at the beginning of your trip. I would say, yeah, that's good for that. 65 in California, I don't know. They're not going to be big on raising their speed limit. Corey says 2,000 to 3,000 towing broke down trucks. That's probably expensive and true. Licensed professionals and truck drivers should have a higher speed limit. Yeah, look, in some countries in Europe or whatever, you get a different license plate based on how long you've been driving. Some of them you get a P plate. I've seen that in Europe, provisional, so people know around you this person has just started driving or whatever, so the plate changes. So I totally agree with that. Why can't you test out and get to go faster based on your experience? Help company close, owes you money, can't reach them. Who is it? Who closed? So we can look this up. Comical trucker, 65 mile an hour. Just look at the data on the split speed limit, less accidents. Yes, I totally agree, but this person doesn't care. Ethan Howard Logistics. Never heard of that place. Where are they from? And if they just closed and owe you money, you're probably going to be months getting it and will get only a portion of it if you're lucky. File with the state for unpaid wages. If you're 1099, you're basically stuck because you decide to be an independent. So let me know. Are you a company driver? What's the story there? Todd, switching from a manual since 1990 for an automatic. Not so sure about it. You'll get used to it. Everybody here thought, oh, we even had a couple drivers say, oh, well, I'm going to quit when that happens. Nobody quit. When backing up an automatic, my recommendation is to turn off the hill start assist. There'll be a button on the dashboard for that because it seems to hold its brakes when you're backing up. It doesn't quite understand. So there's a button. Turn that off. It goes back on when you go like 5 miles an hour, so you won't have to do anything more. You'll get a much smoother backing on it. It doesn't get all herky-jerky. Jerry quit trucking a week ago and is just tired of it all. Going back to your old job. What was your old job? 421. Let the Walmart drivers tell if it has the great benefits, but they're always hiring now, and their deductibles are high because for them, the largest retail, the benefits are bad. Exactly. They have a lot of weird rules that I'm not gonna tolerate. I don't care about that stuff. If driving team works for you, good, but it only wants solo. It's hard at some of the big carriers. Isn't England or Prime notorious for letting you sit because you weren't on teams? Yes. I get tons of emails from people about that, especially England, but some at Prime, they want you to train. Be a trainer. I don't want to train. Well, then they end up sitting. Well, if you trained, we'd have loads for you. So, yes, they absolutely do that. I get the letters all the time, and I tell people, if you're not willing to do it, you should leave because that's all they're going to do. Have you seen the remote control trucks? Our company is Starsky in Dallas. Yeah, Starsky. They're looking to hire 50 drivers. I did see that they want to hire some drivers, right? I'm not in the area, but yeah, I'd love to see. If you ever are in the area, if you ever work for them or something, get a truck up here, I'd love to see it. You seem to get good home time. What kind of trucking do you do? I'm home every day, BCO Hallquin. So, yeah, I get great home time. And I don't work much. So I don't make much, but I also don't work much. Junior, Schneider will make you go broke at 42 cents. Just the household goods is enough, though. Schneider should be paying practical miles like everybody else, and they've said, we can't do that. There's no way to do it. It's crazy. Heard FMCSA is now allowing skills tests to be administered by the CDL school. Yes. This is only going to further the CDL mills. What they did change, when you were trained at a CDL school, it didn't matter where it was. The person that trained you could not give you the test. It had to be somebody else. Now, the person that trained you can give you the test as well. So they changed that law. I don't like it. You shouldn't be able to test there. It should be somewhere else. But so they have every incentive to pass you, of course. And they'll say, we have a 100% pass rate. Of course, you're the one giving the test. Truck and pop-pop. 65 miles an hour, just one more reason to get paid by the hour. They should pass a law mandating that. Well, they probably can't because in America they can pay you however you want. Here's the thing. You should only accept that. How about that? Or accept at least a minimum and guaranteed pay so that you're going to get money. Michael, I'm sure the ATA and Trucking Alliance is right that the bill's all crap the politicians are doing, making trucking a job and a chore instead of enjoyable. Yeah, who is not on it? The ATA. But this Trucking Alliance and truckload carriers, they're all about it, and I don't get it because they can just govern their trucks. No problem. The 65 governor law will never happen. You don't think so, Cassius King? How come? We can all go 65, not quite everybody. Block roads and cause more congestion. We cause an effect that show the public, the politicians, the stupidity of it all. The only way for them to learn, it's about the hours of service and this and everything, is to go do it, is to do it. Same with the hours of service. You need to park 3 minutes away from places for 10 hours. That's the only way they understand. You've only averaged $5.50 a week at Schneider. Wow. Are you gone the whole week for that money? I mean, is that for 3 days? Michael Muller, yeah, let's all be Black Smoke Matters. Well, yep. I'm saying about the hours, you got to follow the rules and let the freight sit, and that's the only way that the people will then try to change it. Why did they decide to shut down 3 left lanes of 465 this weekend? Did I get stuck? No, because I knew about it and went back a different way. So, and I saw that 70 was closed and that. They're redoing a bunch of it, but because I live in the area, I saw it was on the news and everything. And no, I didn't get stuck in it. But they're repaving, and what happens here really is that people just keep running over the construction workers, and that's a sad but true fact. So now they just close the road so that you can't run them over. It's crazy, but that's to keep everybody safe. The greatest expense for trucking is fuel. 65 for 75 saves a lot, yes. 8 versus 7 adds up, but it's going to hose the driver. Less efficiency on your 70 hours, so companies love it. I agree with you, but they can just do this on their own, right? I mean, they don't need a law passed. I guess they want everybody to be, the same, but they don't have to pass a law. Regular people don't have a limit on how long they can drive, but they fall asleep and hit people, yes. They don't have speed limits, but have crashes. Why is the war on trucking? It's easier. You also do a war on less people. You don't have a war against the whole country. This guy, Johnny Isaacson, he wouldn't be reelected. If he limited Edna Schmiegelheimer's, Buick, no way would she hear of that. No way. They're in Bloomington, California, and they're a W-2 company. All right, well, then you file with the state because you're a company driver and say, here's my unpaid wages. Here's the wages I haven't been paid. There's the department, what is it in California? The Department of Industrial Relations Wage and Hour Division. I'm sure you can do it on the web, and but it's going to take a while to get your money. It's going to take months, and you may only get part or little to none of it. It depends how much money the company has left. Prime drivers are excited that they'll be getting a speed increase. They can go and argue and say, look, everybody's got to go 65. Michael, they don't care about safety, just like the ELD didn't improve safety. That's correct. They don't care about safety really, or they would look at this better. None of them, as far as I know, have asked any trucking drivers, only these industry groups, what they think about it. Split speed is the worst, especially for fuel economy and people trying to get around other people. Right. Your slow down, speed up, slow down. It doesn't do any good unless you draft a prime truck. Okay, Wayne, there's going to be another road check later this year, and they're going to check for the space under your steering wheel. And this will be called a ballroom blitz. That's really good. Many people would fail that. Anyone remember when the truck speed was 55 in the Buckeye? Yes. There'd be a platoon of trucks doing 65. Right. It was almost like Smoking the Bandit to get across Ohio. You needed somebody up front. Parking lot and road repair, says Jerry. Yeah, and it's going to be not this coming weekend because of holidays, but expect more closures. 65 is going to close for 17 days again in July in the Indianapolis area. Look for a lot of closures in the Indianapolis area. Shauna, I'm just curious about what are the differences in having a Class A and B other than the pay. You have a B and I'm waiting to upgrade, but wondering if it's worth it. Well, you're going to get a large pay increase. There's a lot of B jobs, though, if that's okay with you. Right around the corner here, there's some kind of cement company. They hire all the time. You can drive a school bus, which if you got your school endorsement or whatever, pays 18 something here in Lafayette, which is not bad, although it's a split time. Garbage truck, waste management pays really good. Republic services pay really good. So if that's okay with you, yeah, absolutely. You're just not going to get a semi, that's all. Just dropped in. Did I do TMC yet? No, I mean, I just want to talk about TMC a little bit, about their goofy rules. An astute viewer sent me a page from TMC, and not only do they have no tattoos, no visible tattoos, it actually says no, how does it word it? I should have, Mark, why don't you ever prepare for the show? Okay, it says no tattoos, no offensive tattoos at all. And it doesn't suggest like you can cover those up. You can't have them at all. Also, collar length hair. Are there any women on here that drive for TMC? Do they force you to have collar length hair? It's in their writing. Misty, how does teaming with someone you've never met work? I can only imagine the issues. Poorly. Cash is King Trucking. 55 in Ohio was slow, a problem running down. Yes, that was a disaster, wasn't it? Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So, Misty, some places will team you. Oh, we have a teaming match program. Yeah, I don't recommend that. That's like, that's kind of the Tinder of teaming. You need to come in with somebody you're comfortable with. And look, if you're a husband and wife or however you two are connected and want to go together and team, I mean, the money is out there for you. If the federally limited the speed of 18-wheelers make it 70, they're talking 65. They love 65. Ask the Canadians what they think of 65. They'll have been doing it for years. Canadian scales check speed with a laptop. That's what they're talking about here as well. That'd be the only way to do it. At inspections, they'll check your speeds. Marty, what company do you work for? I'm looking to switch from Riverside. Yeah, exactly. BRB wife just finished cooking. Nice. What is she bringing us all? I hope there's enough for everybody. Cash is king. Seeming with a stranger leak seems like prison. It could be worse than prison. Has anybody seen, Silence of the Lambs? I start my new job next week, paid hourly for all hours, same 2 days off, home 2 to 4 days every week. Misty, that's excellent. Paid hourly for all your time. You're going to love it. Caleb, I heard they were pushing for 65. Think the push for the 57-foot trailers to move product. Yeah, that's coming too. There's a few states where they can run those intrastate. I've seen them out here because Wabash is in Lafayette. I've seen Swift 57-footers. It says 57 on it. I'm like, that trailer's really, really long. And they're running them already. What many call automatic is not such. It's more called an auto shift. True automatics is bad. All right, MG Jackson, I agree. It's not an automatic. I always say that. It's shifting the manual transmission for you. But explaining that, it's true. People call them an automatic, and that's what people call them. It's not really an automatic like your car. Larry, gliders have gone out due to EPA regulations on how many can be produced. Mega carriers don't buy them due to fuel inefficiencies. Yeah, usually people don't glider an efficient truck. They're like Smith here, glider in these long-nosed Pete's because that's what drivers want to drive. So a company that does that may spend a little more on fuel, but they keep drivers better. Andrew, hey, Mark, Martin is treating you right. Pulled over for a second. Got to hit the road. Hey, thank you for saying that. For Martin, I'm glad. They have a lot of extra pays and stuff that other companies don't have, and I'm glad that you're doing good. 421, if I had a 65 auto truck, they only made $450 a week and home every 6 weeks, I would quit, but this is what a lot of new drivers face. They wash out of the industry. That's why they leave. They don't make any money. They're gone. Their spouse or whatever is like, what are you doing? You were making more here because you got to spend $200 at the Flying J to eat all the greasy pizza and, and roller wieners, and then you got nothing. It's a real problem. And I totally agree with you. Alvy had a Tennessee Highway Patrol officer do road rage on you in your last 65 mile an hour truck because it took so long to pass another truck. So the officer's road raging. I love that. How many of you have the radar and see the cops doing 80, 85, right? All the time. Jeffrey Schneider offered you 28 cents plus 40 a load and maximum, and a maximum of 165 for intermodal. Maximum of 165. What do you mean by that? But I do know their intermodal, right, does this. JB Hunt does this too, where they pay a lesser mileage rate and so much a load. Comfortable man, you just left Swift. They're having issues paying drivers. Do you mean your pay was late? Like Friday's payday and no pay? Politicians don't drive, they fly. They could care less about traffic. That's true. I never thought about that. They don't have to sit in traffic. Like this guy in Delaware, you think he drives somewhere? No way. Ken, any updates on the lawsuit against Stevens? No, nothing more on that. No more on the Stevens lawsuit. There's tons of lawsuits against these places. It's hard to keep up with them now. That'll take some time for all that to pay out, certainly, on a big place like that. Michael, when you ran paper, you had a truck that was open but set to the cruise to 65 and 67 and cruised down the road even when the speed limit was 70 or more. So why do they have an open truck and then set the cruise on it? What's crazy? X-Load, what about Hogan? Yeah, Hogan does different stuff. They're a logistics company, so every city, they do something different. Here in Indianapolis, they have like 10 different ads for different things. Every city they work in, they do different. You have to call them and tell them where you are, and they can tell you what they have around you. They have straight trucks ads for $950. They have semis at $1,300, semis at $1,200, $1,500, all different, home daily, home weekly, everything. Marty thinks it's easier on the road going 80, less ground pressure, than going 65. Nice. So it saves the roads. That's one way to look at it. Big Red Patriot doesn't like Indiana. What the heck? 421, companies started pushing the team issue after e-logs came out. But teaming is scary with a stranger if you don't know their driving habits. They can push it. They're not going to get any more teams than they have now. It's very tough to get teams. If you are a team, you've got it made. Misty, when you upgraded from B to A, my pay increased 20 to 30%. Exactly. It's a good pay increase. There's jobs. I'm not saying like there's no jobs for B license. There are jobs. You're going to get work, but there's more opportunities because you can always still do the B job with the A license. Cash is king. TMC Trucks say destination excellence. They're never going to get there going 62. Well, 62 and short hair. Remember, no long hair over there. And you'd have to cover up those tattoos. That's the problem. Comical trucker, as long as they didn't find them offensive. If they find, it says no offensive tattoos. Tattoos must be covered and no offensive tattoos. So the way it's written, there's like a tattoo check and no tattoos that they don't like. Running 65 caused you to be 27 hours overtime last week. Well, that's not a bad thing too. So if you get paid hourly, you want the truck to go as slow as possible so you can get paid. Big Red Patriot, yeah. You're gonna the Tinder of teaming. You're gonna swipe left or right on your next teaming partner. Kim, Mark, so I nobody asked you this, but what company do I work for? Oh, I don't ever get asked that normally in the show, so that's interesting. For new people that are never been here, I don't say where I work. That keeps them out of my videos. So many people, they're always commenting on their company, whatever. No way. I keep them out of my videos, and I don't recruit for them either. Every driver seems to be recruiting for their own company. Oh, give me the recruiting bonus. No. They have recruiters. You can call their recruiters. I keep them out of my videos. That's just the way I have to do it. Junior, Schneider puts you with the random team drivers. So they'll just say, hey, look who you're going to meet today. There he is. Congratulations. I'm like, are you wearing a suit of skin? The speed limit says 70. That could be the minimum. The speed should be the speed. Everybody that goes the same speed, the roads are much safer. Just say no to 60-foot trailers, greedy shippers. I've seen 57s out here at Wabash. I don't know how they get them around if they're not legal in Indiana. Destination next week. It's what it should say on TMC Trucks. The hair, look, none of that makes any sense for safety. I understand if they have policies or whatever, and look, they can have all these policies they want. It's their company. They don't want long hair, fine. But does that have anything to do with safety? Like your tattoos. So you have a tattoo that they don't like. Are you not safe? They would rather you not drive for them? Maybe the road damage wouldn't be bad if the roads were fixed correctly in the first place. Yeah. Hey, how about instead of just asphalting the road, how about we actually fix the road? Trucker, K money. Trucking is starting to not be good. There's a lot of regulations. If you're not in a place you like, you're really not going to like trucking. I'll tell you that. Level 3 inspection today in Florida and passed. All right. Does your company pay you for that? I hope so. Oh, $165 a day for max. Are you saying they'll only give you, I guess I don't understand how this works. $165 a day for max. That's all they'll pay you in one day? They're doing this to get older drivers off the road to get fresh meat, and they could pay them lower rates knowing the new drivers don't know better. I think that's certainly part of it, right? But what older drivers should you just get into a job that has a guarantee or whatever so you don't have to worry about sitting around and not getting paid anything? Comfortable man. None of the scanning computers and APPs will work correctly. Can't scan your paperwork, so no pay. Can you not scan there at, it seems like Swift, can you not scan it at a truck stop? Or do they only require the in-cab scanning now there? Michael Muller, on paper logs, I want pressed for time as much as with the electronic log, and they're doing the 65 for the 18-year-olds. Yeah, they're going to limit them, so they'll say, well, look, it worked for them. Let's have it for everybody. Yes. William is hoping to get your AC fixed next week. Yikes, it should be fixed today. I always tell them I'll go the day, but when that truck gets to the shop, they need to fix it. Or give me a different truck. Kangaroo Trucker, hello, what's happening? Are you from down there? I meant I wasn't pressed for time on paper, right, but do need to put the pedal to the metal. You do need to roll, but, it's just too nerve-wracking. It's too nerve-wracking, I guess. See, hello from Georgia. Mark and drivers, hey, what's going on in Georgia today? Kim, so what if you have an offensive tattoo on a certain place, male or female? Look, that's what I thought. Are they going to check you? It says tattoos must be covered and no offensive tattoos allowed. So I don't know if they have a tattoo check or, what they do with it. I don't know what they do with it. Cash is King. Averett and UPS made me cover my tattoos. I had to wear fingerless gloves when at the terminals. I thought truckers wear those anyway, right? So you already had those on. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So TMC would make you cover them, but it says no offensive tattoos. That's different than covering your tattoos. So if you had a tattoo that they found offensive, theoretically, I guess it could say You need to get it removed, I guess, or you can't work here. Hey Hong, big fan. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. Comical Trucker, we can solve training issues by making 80-foot 4XL Class B trucks. Holy mackerel. Yeah, I guess. Where are we going to turn that thing? Yikes. TMC is a snitch company. So I assume at a place like this that has all these rules that they encourage the people there to report each other so that everybody can be kept in line. That's what I assume. And so once I see a place like TMC with rule after rule that don't have anything to do with driving, not safety, like, oh, report somebody that's drunk, that's one thing. Everybody should do that. But don't say, well, report somebody that has a visible tattoo. I don't know if they have a reporting policy. But if they have all these stupid make your bed, clean your footwells out, I mean, when they start doing that, you are going to be micromanaged to death. They're the K and B of flatbeds. Was told differently about TMC. Driver had full sleeves and didn't have to cover it. No way. I have it in writing from TMC. Derogatory tattoo rule stands and grooming rule as well. Okay, it says, it's very specific in the literature from TMC that says tattoos must be covered. Must. Jimmy Savage, any info on Midwest refrigerated services? Let's see what people think about that. Misty, guy in the truck next to me was adding water to swamp cooler in his cab so he could stay cool because he doesn't want to idle. He's a company lease operator. Well, he should make all kinds of money. That's what people tell me. You know, that's sad. And you need to run your truck. You want to get a good night's sleep. I mean, come on. Is trucking worth it? If you can't make enough money, if you're leasing a truck to idle the truck and stay cool, you know, what kind of job did you just buy yourself? Seriously, that's not worth it. That is not worth it to me. I'm not doing that. You know, it just isn't worth it. 173 ride. I thought that too. Long-haired, freaky people need not apply. The ironic thing is these people, which I found out were from the military, they were Marines. The Marines allows tattoos. You can have tattoos in the Marines. They don't say no offensive tattoos. It just has to be covered. So, look, they just should have stayed in or whatever because they're putting this onto other people. And I guess the solution is you don't have to work there. I'd say, I guess you don't work there. Oh, comfortable man, you cannot scan at the truck stop. Oh, so that's how they get you. You still have your bills. You know, the thing is, though, all right, so wouldn't Swift want the bill so they can get paid? Because they have to present a signed bill to the customer, too. It's holding their own money. These companies just shoot people in the foot like crazy, you know, themselves. Charles has seen double 53s in Ohio. Yeah, Turnpike, right? Then email them the paperwork or fax it. I wonder if they'll accept it that way. Greetings from Danny Herman, Tennessee. Love the videos. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Averiting UPS also no beard. I did see that. No mustache. I look like a young Tom Selleck. Wow. That would be something. Mustache only. Okay, I think TMC, it says trimmed, neatly trimmed. I don't know what that means. But it says neatly trimmed beard. I guess it's up to beard. It's up to them to determine. They offer money for snitching. Does somebody have that in writing? I mean, you know, I would need that in writing just the way I have these other policies in writing. Does somebody have that in writing? Jimmy Savage. They sound like the Gestapo. It doesn't make any sense. TMC apparently forgot about loyalty to your shipmates. Oh, yeah, what about that, right? Everybody comes back. We're loyal to each other. TMC would not hire Charles Manson. Well, you'd have to cover his tattoo. Because he didn't have a beard, I think. So I think otherwise. Danny Coleman is popping in to say hello from Kentucky. You're on your way to South Carolina with a new tanker company who pays for everything, including your 10-hour FEA product on the truck. That's really good. Let us know how it goes there, and thanks for popping in. And finding a place, you know, that's going to pay for your time. Well worth the time it takes to find that. It's way better, way better. Tina says, which companies have a pay guarantee? I'm seeing it at about 20%. So some places do. You'd have to call and ask them. I guess I should get a list together. A list that has all guarantees. But some places do have 1,000, 1,200 guarantee every week. It's great to have a guarantee because you don't have to worry if you're going to sit that you're not going to make money. I guess the one that comes to mind right away is Newsbaum. $250 a day guarantee. So even if you don't work all week, you're guaranteed $250 a day. Trucks in the shop, you don't work, whatever it is. If you're available, $250 a day. That's a good one right off the top of my head. The White Knight, TMC owns Hooters. Is that true? If TMC asked me to rat an employee, I'd hit him with the Sergeant Schultz. You know nothing. I know nothing. Nothing. Please somebody email that to me if that's got to be in writing somewhere. take a picture of a sign somewhere, whatever it is. Ohio was 55, but we could take our chances. Mandatory, you'll have no choice. That's what they are saying, is that drivers are just so unsafe. They'll just drive willy-nilly around the country at whatever speed, so we need to limit them. Comfortable man, tomorrow I'm going to go to the state unemployment office and filing a complaint for unpaid bills. I agree. Look, if you have to be paid on time, and if they say this is how you get paid and then it's broken or whatever, that's unpaid wages. I totally agree. Micromanage. Let me know if you get money too. Micromanagement is the in thing now, at least it seems, because it's all over the trucking industry. It is. Some places are crazy. If the rules were for safety or something, that's one thing. Like everybody probably has this rule, 3-point touch in the truck, wear a vest. That's a safety thing. All right, I understand that. But a tattoo or your hair can't be longer than your collar? What the heck is that? How does that improve safety at all? UPS said no hair below your upper lip. You laughed when HR told you that. They didn't see you laughing, though, because of your big hairy mustache. That's the thing you left in your red Ferrari. Kim, why are the cattle haulers going to do when they get limited to 65? Oh, they will not be happy about that. I think a lot of them may not have to comply because of their trucks. And I wonder if agriculture, just like they get exemptions now with bees and agriculture and livestock, they might be able to squeeze an exemption out of it and say, well, the cows need to get moving. Luis, is it worth the lease operate? No, I don't think so. Don't rent a truck from a company. Go get your truck yourself somewhere. You want to control that asset. That truck is your biggest asset that you're going to have to make you money. You want control of it. Don't, if you want to put it on in a company, at least control the truck. Buy it yourself. Do you have any thoughts about Tribe Express? Yeah, I've liked Tribe. I've put Tribe, where is it? It's up there, right? Oh, that's Pride up there. Okay. But yeah, I think that's not the worst place, but they had problems, but yeah, I'm still in for them. Bill, $1,800 a week guaranteed. That's pretty good. That is really good, $1,800 a week. A lot of dead cattle cattle haulers still on paper. Yeah, that's the thing. They get exemptions, and I think cattle haulers would be able to say, look, we need an exemption. And then the bee haulers, which aren't that many, I guess, would say, hey, what about us? What about the bee haulers? Junior, your friend drives for JB Hunt is a guaranteed $1,250. There's another guarantee right there, $1,250. Trucking man, Prime will still go 57. I agree. I don't think they're going to turn their trucks up. From what I understand, the trucks are 62, but they encourage you to go 57. And so they brainwash you and with the basketball court in the movie theater that they have at Prime. And then when they get you to lease a truck when you've been there 4 months, you still go really slow. Test the spirits that they are of. Yeah, that's a long name too. You know how trucking is in Hawaii? No, I don't. How is trucking in Hawaii if you know? Or if there's any Hawaiian truckers? I know that there's not a lot of over-the-road trucking there. I would assume that. But no, I don't know what it is. I'm going to assume it's 80% containers and fuel hauling, tankers. Maybe tanker containers. My company doesn't bother you as long as you communicate with dispatch and make your deliveries and pickups on time. That's how it should be, right? Here's the load. Go do it. That's it. If you have a problem, call them. Otherwise, leave you alone. And that's a lot less stress. Not, hey, if you see somebody with long hair, why don't you turn them in? If you see somebody looking all Tom Selleck, get that person turned in. And we don't want that. When Ohio was 55, they would pull you over for speeding and give you a seatbelt violation, even if you had the belt on. Well, I would take that over the speeding ticket, and you probably agree with that, right? Michael says Ohio was lax with speed. Yeah, because they could just write the seatbelt ticket and they know everybody would pay it without fighting it. Junior, these stupid buzzers are more distracting than anything. Yeah, imagine how much it's going to buzz once they have the speed limit set on there too, right? Cattle haulers probably won't obey. They will gang up and blow through. Yeah, they're not going to follow it anyway. But I think they'll get an exemption. The cows need to get moving. Holy mackerel. I wish I would have thought of that. I'm surprised Walmart doesn't have a hair policy. Some of the drivers have mountain man beards. Well, I mean, look, if you have a mountain man beard, are you still a safe driver? That's what the trucking company should matter. Are you nice to the customers? Like, that's what I want you to do. If you're at a shipper or receiver, right, be nice in there. You don't have to come in there like whatever. You can have a beard that people keep clean. Look at, Willie Nelson. We have a driver with a beard almost to his belt, but, it's not a disaster of, dirt or whatever. So that wouldn't bother me. Are you a safe driver? Are you going to take care of my freight, my equipment, and the customers? That's what I want to know. I don't care what else you do, right? just be a professional. That should be the key to it, right? So these Freightht Rite, I wanted to put this out there, must rehire this driver because he refused to drive in bad weather. So Freightht Rite Incorporated, which was in Kentucky, fired a driver because he refused to drive. There was bad weather, and he goes, look, I'm not going to drive. They fired him. He filed a claim, and they have to rehire this guy, $180,000 plus pay his attorney. So the attorneys don't get that. They pay his attorney and $180,000. So I want to encourage everybody always that if there's some kind of rule, right, you do not have to break any kind of laws or rules. The company can't do anything to you no matter what they told him. They said, we'll fire you. He goes, I'm not driving. It's all bad in the winter. And he didn't. They fired him. And, they have to rehire him too. They have to give him his job back, which I'd love going back in there with my $180,000 check. And then they can't do anything to him. No, they could take no action against him upon rehire. That's what it said. $180,000. Always follow the regulations to the letter, and there's nothing the company can do to you. What's my opinion on Freightmiller? Yeah, I think if you're starting out, Freightmiller might not be the worst place to start out. That's where I'm at on Freightmiller. You made a YouTube video on lease purchase. You would consider anyone considering leasing to watch it. Can you do a video on rail transport? They have cameras, right? So that was part of the problem with them. They just came in with the deal of 65. It sounds dangerous. Look, Johnny Isaacson, who's 74-year-old Republican senator from Georgia, and Chris Coons, 58-year-old Democrat from Delaware senator, they want you to go 65. They want all trucks to be limited to 65. Actually, all vehicles 26,000 pounds or over. If it's electronically allowed to be limited, 65 max. And they'll check it during inspections, and that'll be it. You won't be able to go more than 65. He goes, that's the safest way for you to go around, as he got in his private plane and flew off somewhere. Michael, as long as you don't trip on your beard going to the truck or step on it hitting the brakes. Yeah, look, keep it out of the way of the pedals. If it's that long, maybe Willie Nelson braid that thing up or something. But that's it, right? I mean, come on. Charles, it's neither here nor there. Oh, my gosh. It's Pun Monday is back. Ryan says, if they mandate 65 miles an hour, you'll spend the whole day in the left lane trying to pass someone. Nancy told Winters don't like it, and they can call their congressman. Yeah, you should call your congressman about it. Senate Bill 2033. I'm going to do a separate video about that this week. And here's the great name. You're going to love it. Got your pen ready? The Cullum Owings Large Truck Safe Operating Speed Act of 2019. That is the name of it. That is correct. Comfortable Man says all the electronic safety garbage in these trucks have on them is more distracting to a driver and more dangerous than safe. I think the worst thing is the radar that hits the brakes. Okay, that I find that to be the most distracting thing in the truck because it goes off on road signs. There's a curve that I take that has a sign in front of it, but I'm turning the curve, but it thinks you're going this way, and so it reads that sign and hits the brakes every time. That kind of stuff is ridiculous. There's a couple of overhead signs. It's just ridiculous. Cash is King. Don't get your beard caught in the straps when securing a flatbed load. I understand that. Yeah, and I agree. Look, braid it up and put it in your shirt or something. That's fine with me too. But otherwise, how does a tattoo affect the straps? How about that? How does a visible tattoo, let's say it's the most innocuous tattoo of whatever, just a circle or something. How does that affect straps? It doesn't. It has nothing to do about safety. John, and how about speed limiters on cars? I agree. If it should be on trucks, it should be on everybody. I would at least respect the guy then for being actually something to do with safety, where everybody goes the same speed. Then I totally agree with you. And who are they to say what an offensive tattoo is? It's none of their business if you have a tattoo, really. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense at all. One person may think it's offensive and another person thinks it's hilarious. So they can do this, though. Tattoos are not a covered, they're allowed to do that. So they can have that policy. I just think it's stupid. Do you have to put chains during winter, or can you park and say no? I would say park, right? The FMCSA, right, says that shouldn't be driving in weather that you don't think is safe. They always leave that up to the driver, even the FMCSA. So they say if you think it's not safe, then it's not safe. So you should be able to park. My company has a policy, like I would say probably 80% of places I find, no chains. You don't have to chain up. So you can just park. But if your company wants you to chain, I don't think there's a reason why the law doesn't protect you from chaining. Why Trucking Man 2015? Why is it that when a truck passes you, they can't keep it in their lane? I don't know, because they're doing stuff. I find this at night. If I'm passing somebody because they're all over the road, they're sleeping, then they're woke up suddenly or whatever. But I agree, right? People are doing everything except driving. Do more driving and less of all these other things. Semper Fido, do you know of any decent 11 Western company guy can restart? He's been off for 10 years. Well, there's Doug Andrews is in Idaho or Montana up there. They don't have the greatest pay at that place, but everybody seems to give it really great reviews when they're for driving there, that it has a very good, place to drive. And it would be a good place to get started, that's not going to micromanage you, or like Western is going to ruin you with low pay. Call Doug Andrews and see what they have to say about there. Trucker Hershey, what about coasting downhill? Well, no, they're going to have a 65 mile an hour speed limiter. So I guess it would depend on what the speed limit in the state is, right? The congressmen should have their planes governed at 65. That's good, right? They can't take Georgia overdrive from you. What is the best place to look for these good jobs? Savage. Okay, so I just look everywhere. I look on the internet. You can go to my website, truckinganswersnation.com. I have a list of trucking companies doing it better, but that's not every company. There's questions on there. Write all these questions down. Craigslist, a lot of places advertise on Craigslist because it's free. You can go to the newspaper. There's nobody advertising there. I just like to say that. And it just takes some time to find exactly what you're looking for in trucking, so you don't have to keep job hopping. Start somewhere and then figure out what you want to do and find a job that follows those things that you want to do, and you'll be way better off there than just hopping, place to place. Comfortable Man says radar automatically hitting the brakes is very dangerous. I agree. To a driver and other vehicles, especially in the winter. Why doesn't this thing have a limit, like 35 degrees or 40 degrees? It doesn't work anymore. Oh my gosh. In the wintertime, I would say that you could take like a piece of aluminum foil and wrap it in Gorilla Tape that is the size of that radar, and then tape it to the radar because it's the same color, and nobody would notice it's on there, and it would stop the radar from working. But I'd say you probably shouldn't do that. Your company probably wouldn't like it. So don't do that. John takes their day cab home, and there's a curve that if someone is turning the Valvoline just past it, the radar will hit the brakes. How safe? I agree. That's the worst part of this thing is that radar that automatically hits the brakes. These companies don't realize what that does. It's just ridiculous. Don't forget the 20,000 subscriber show is coming soon, to be brought by Blue Parrot, where we'll be giving away a Blue Parrot, a 450 headset. Also brought to us by CTS Business Coaching. If you need business coaching, call CTS Business Coaching. Also, GP Transco, right? That's a good company you could look up in the Midwest. That would be a good place to start as well. They do require experience at GP Transco. So you do need a little bit of experience to get on there. Well worth calling. How about that? How about that break? Now, if I can get this back up here. Mark, you do this and then you screw the whole thing up for 20 minutes. I know. Okay, there we go. I want to tell people that as we get close to 20,000 also, some subscribers will be picked just out of the subscriber list, not on the live show, and they will also be receiving Love's gift cards, and there'll be other stuff besides the headset. It's going to be a great show, and we're getting close to it as we go along here. If they change cars to speed limits to 65, no one will buy all those, and you'll see old cars. I agree, right? Nobody's going to mess with my car. Could you get the public to come in and have their cars turned down? I doubt it. But because what would they do with the plating maybe? Nobody would bring their car in. You'd see a bunch of old Chargers running around from the 60s. Trucker Todd, if you turn your cruise off, the radar won't hit the brakes. If you turn your cruise, yeah, but I can't go all day, without the cruise on. And it still gives you the stupid warning. The whole thing brights, blinks red and all that. It's just crazy. It shouldn't hit the brakes anyway, is what I'm saying. The truck shouldn't intervene. I don't mind a warning, I guess. I'd rather have it a warning than the truck actually intervening with me. I have the Bendix radar. It's not as bad, but you can put a black tape over it and show error on the display, and cruise still works, so no check engine light. Yeah, if it's covered up, it still works. On this one, what it says is, do you want to do the cruise manually? And you have to agree to it on the thing, and then it just runs the cruise like normal. But I would say covering it with, the aluminum foil and that, it's probably not allowed at your company. Certainly here I would never do it. So absolutely. 100,000 for 6 months in the Middle East. Okay, Trucker Hershey, that's not for me. I mean, it's bad enough just going to Detroit getting shot at, much less going to the Middle East. Jesus Flores, Andrews is in St. George, Utah. There's one further up that I'm thinking of, but it's probably the same place. Doug Andrews is in Idaho Falls. That's the one I'm thinking of. Got a couple friends that work there and they love it. Very family oriented. I've heard that they're very driver focused and the drivers are treated well there. And if you can get a place, I'd rather make less money and be treated well, get my experience, and then can decide what to do. I may stay there because, you may take less money for the treatment that you get. Comfortable man, Trucker Todd. Not sure your radar can hit the brakes no matter if you have it on or off. It doesn't. If you cover it, it can't do anything, right? Trucker Hershey, it's tax free. Yeah. Has anybody gone to the Middle East to do that? I thought about it years ago when that started and they were recruiting at these places. I never did do it, obviously, but I've thought about it. Also, and U.S. companies drivers from Canada. Aren't U.S. companies hiring drivers from Canada? I don't know if they could do that. I don't know what you're saying about that. Michael, I drove past Capitol Hill in the Pentagon the other day. If I knew that, I could have stopped and explained the issue with it. Yeah, I don't think they like you stopping in front of the Pentagon with your semi. They keep moving, sir. Then you'd be doing this. Hey, I can only do this for 15 minutes, and it's a collect call, right, Andre? You have to take it to Freightline and have them fix the problem. This thing should not hit the brakes for you. It just shouldn't. It costs $25 to place a Craigslist job listing. Oh, I thought they were free. I've listed other stuff, I guess, for sale. It's still less than they pay probably in these little magazines. I didn't know job listings cost anything. That's still a bargain, I guess. Daniel, a 15-year-old can drive a 65,000-pound Prevost with a trailer doing 75 with just a learner's permit. Exactly. But here we got to have all this training and stuff, right? James, not feeling good. Going to bow out. Everyone had a great 4th. Okay, go get some rest. And let me know how it goes tomorrow, all right? Take it easy, and thanks for coming in. Trucking Man 2015, every time I drive at night, trucks flash their lights. I agree. Why are we flashing our brights, okay? My truck has a switch on the steering wheel. It's a Cascadia, and it turns the lights off for a second. You could do that. You could actually turn them off. There are things to do besides flashing your brights, especially some of these brights are really, really bright. The lawmaker needs cuts business coaching. Maybe Johnny Isaacson should call CTS business coaching. That's a good idea. We could all chip in and pay for him to get an hour of business coaching, and he could maybe understand the industry better. That's actually very good. Ralph, good afternoon. Thanks for coming in. Daycab Gear Jammer. Am I still sponsored by CRST as well? Yes. CRST, of course, going to be a sponsor of the show as well, due to constant glowing reviews of them, of course. Yes, I love it. If you enjoy sleeping in a room with people you've never met and no television after you're told what time to go to bed, CRST, their number is available online. Michael, if lawmakers think that we are professionals and are dangerous, I guess they should start a farm and vegetable garden so they can grow and butcher their own food and save and have hemp for clothes and no more trucks. These lawmakers don't realize because, look, these people, this guy's been in this for his whole life, really. So the guy's been an attorney. So they got money. They don't realize. They just think stuff shows up at the store, or they have people go get them stuff. They don't realize how the stuff gets traveled around. Everything. There's people on here, probably if we listed everything, everybody on here's hauled basically everything that there is in the country. Leon, I live in Chicago. As far as I'm concerned, that's the Middle East. That wasn't great either. When I lived at 1800 North Whipple, for people that are from Chicago, not a great neighborhood, okay? And that was in the 80s, so not great. It seems that all these safety features are more distracting. I agree. Because it interacts. I don't mind this stuff. Look, the wife's car, we've got the blind spot stuff, so that's a warning. It's got cross traffic, so if you back out of a spot, it tells you if there's traffic coming, all that. But it doesn't interact with the car. It gives you an alert. Okay, when you pull up to a pole, it tells you how close you are. You back up, it tells you how close you are. All right. But it doesn't do anything other than tell you. The camera, you just look at it. You have to still drive. This thing that interacts with the brakes, that's what bothers me the most. If it just had a warning, that's one thing, and I'll decide. But having this truck hit the brakes, I mean, let one of these Starsky trucks do this in the wintertime, and there's not going to be a driver there. It's going to just slam the brakes on and go sliding off the road. We're waiting for that, but that is years away. They can put out this stuff, oh, we have automated trucks. That is not coming anytime soon. Where are they doing all this testing? what the last test for one of these was Dallas to Phoenix, where it's sunny every day. Let them go through in the rain. You'll know if it rains too hard, the radar thing stops working. Radar covered, debris covers radar, right? And then when it dries off, it starts working again. It's crazy. Not sure about the brakes acting with cruise off, at least for Martin trucks. Yeah, some of them do activate without the cruise. Trucking, man, if that's all you have to complain about in the trucking, other trucks flashing headlights, you'll find another line of work. There's a lot of other things, but that is an annoying thing that people have started in the last few years. 421 drove in Iraq, but those jobs aren't paying like they used to. When I looked years ago, it paid pretty good. They were talking like 80 or 90 for 6 months, and then you got to come home and could do more. And that was a lot, and it was tax-free, like the White Knight is saying here. But then I thought, and they wouldn't let you have a weapon. I'm like, well, can I have a weapon? No. Can I bring one? No. I'm like, well, what the heck? But it turns out, I guess most of the drivers over there would get one over there or something. But I thought, man, that is no good. So I decided against that, because here I'm going in the zone and they're like, no weapons. Your truck's not armored, nothing. You just got to just go. I'm like, if I'm going, right, I want a weapon. Texas Trader, usually a Saudi company like Aramco, will pay $200 if you can tolerate the restrictions. I wonder if they have a tattoo restriction. They probably do, really. Kurt, I do the Middle East with good air conditioning, an M4 and $150,000 a year. It's hot and dangerous. That's the thing of it. I'm like, what do you mean no weapons? Oh, they're like, no, you're a driver. You can't get a weapon. I'm like, sir, I'm going to need a weapon or we're done talking. Call Rains and some for some information now. They won't leave me alone like a bad creditor. I still get calls from PTL. They have been the most aggressive place to try to get me to work there. I get at least 2 to 3 calls a week, and this has been since last summer. Hey, Mark, we have set you up for Orientation Monday. Just to let us know. Hey, your bus ticket is ready. They've called with that like I'm going to take a bus anywhere. Hey, don't forget to come in and all this. Oh, my gosh. They are super aggressive about it. CRST trailed off a while ago, but they are still all about it. The money is tax-free if you're outside the U.S. for 330 days. So you got to stay there. So you could come back one time, right, for, say, 30 days and then go back. If you bought it, a truck brought it. Exactly. People don't realize everything. The news always puts out like 80% comes by truck. What do you get that a truck didn't bring at some point? Your truck doesn't have the radar feature. Good. That's the worst feature of all trucks. I don't mind the automatic. I don't want that radar on there. I don't buy the truck, though, so I have no say in it. KBR, I think that's the one I looked at. DynCorp and others are still in Iraq and Afghanistan, but the danger isn't there like it used to be. That's why the pay is lower. Yeah, this would have been many years ago, and they were like, oh, you'll get shot at and stuff, but you can't shoot back or do anything like that. Keto, walk and get fit. Hello and goodbye. Working hard today. Thanks for everything. In Sacramento. Well, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you stopping in today. It's probably nicer there than here. It's a humidity fest. Andre had the tractor slam on the brakes in the middle of the highway and no one was in front of you. It caught the overhead sign shadow. Exactly. That's when I had to get Freightliner to address the issue. It's horrible. It shouldn't catch the signs. It shouldn't do these, curve ahead signs. It shouldn't do any of that. It shouldn't come on at all. Michael, what makes you mad if you're at a truck stop and you get a bobtail or a hotshot trucker taking a full-size spot and park with their brights on so you can't see backing in? You look, I agree. I don't know why people do this. As soon as you start backing in, your lights go off. Why are we backing in with the lights on at all? Okay, it's no light policy. This used to be common. You'd pull in, everybody's lined up at the docks, and nobody's got their lights on. And as soon as you start backing in, lights are off, right? It's parking lights driving around the truck stop. No lights, okay? Nobody wants to see that. Turn off your lights. Now, everybody's backing with their lights on. No four-ways around, none of that. Nobody cares about that. Trucks just going all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's being taught, these kind of safety features. Or they're driving around everywhere with their four-ways on. As soon as they pull in a place, four-ways around. What is up with that? Is this some kind of stupid company policy somewhere? Then I don't know if you're backing up. Do you trying to back up? Are you driving around? I don't know what you're doing. 4 ways for backing up. Alex, yeah, I get that's for tomorrow morning. Actually, was thinking about that. Truthfully, Al, it's super hot in Tennessee. 421. The drivers from Turkey wouldn't get searched for some reason, so they would bring booze and handguns to sell to the drivers. Yeah, you'll probably get fired for it or whatever, but you need one. To say, oh, you can't have a weapon and you're going into the Middle East, I mean, come on. For what they're doing, no way. Ralph, what's going to happen when the autonomous trucks get mad at the operator and locks them out of the truck and drives away? You must have seen the movie Trucks with Timothy Busfield. Anybody who hasn't seen that movie should go watch it. What's going to happen eventually with all this autonomous stuff is they'll all come and kill us, presumably. So that's what I see happening eventually. Someday in the future, all the robot trucks and everything, drones, they'll all turn on us, of course, when they realize they don't need us. Comfortable man. So what happens if you're driving 65 and the radar activates the brakes for whatever reason? Better hope you have your seatbelt on. Yeah, exactly. That's what it does. A car pulls in front of you, bingo, brakes, depending. It shouldn't do that in the winter time. I'm trying to roll around in the snow or whatever here, and this thing is activating the brakes. I got enough problems without trying to worry if my truck is going to kill me. I got to deal with all the public, and my own truck is trying to put me in a ditch. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they ever thought that was a good idea. It's on all of our trucks, too. It isn't just my truck, so I know it's an issue with all these trucks. I think new drivers are used to automatic lights. Oh, they still can turn off. Okay, new drivers, you can still turn your headlights off. You don't have to drive around with them on. I agree. Look, the cars have the headlights, too. I've got in my cars, but that doesn't mean I have to have them on all the time. I agree, the automatic lights. Some of our trucks have them, but you can still turn them off. Al, yes, four-ways are company policy. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if you're backing up then. Why do companies have that? That's a backing up only deal. Dan says Mad Max is better. It is, but the trucks aren't driving themselves around. Michael, Skynet Trucking, that day is coming. MG Jackson, Maximum Overdrive. You know, the people that are involved in it, like Starsky, it's going to be Starsky Trucking, and that means Skynet. You know how close that is to Skynet, by the way? Did you think about that? Ryan, how do we get eligible to win the headset? All you need to do is be on the live show where I'm giving away the headset. That's it. No purchase is necessary, and it's a blue Parrot 450. All right, pretty nice, a blue Parrot to send that over. And so we'll be giving that out live on the show as soon as I get to 20,000. It's going to be the 20,000 subscriber giveaway. So all you need to be, and I can't make it just that's not just for subscribers. You'll be on the live show. No purchase necessary. So, but people that are subscribed get the notification. It'll be in a few weeks here, it looks like. Josh, is Trucks part of the mandated Trucker Nation library? Yes. That's the first show you watch so that we realize what's going to happen to us in not too long. John says, little cars cruising the parking lots, and what's with the pickups parking in the truck rest area? I'm tired and can't. I agree. I've seen that too. You go to a rest area, and then there's a pickup truck in there. I'm like, oh, okay, so a 250 Super Duty is not exactly what they meant when they said trucks, okay? However, one thing, why are there cars in the parking lot? You know what those are cruising around for. However, one thing about being a driver in Iraq, the women on base were doing work big time. The ratio was like 18 men to 1 woman. I assume so, right? And they charge drivers more than anyone else. Well, you're the ones with all the money, right? Of course, you don't have to purchase these services, right? And presumably you wouldn't. John, why haven't they wired reverse lights on trailers and activate when you put the truck in reverse? I have no idea. And all this technology is still putting four-ways on for reverse. I agree. Look, they should have white lights back there. I've seen some where there's a switch on the trailer, and that's not a bad idea either because you have to go out and open your doors, most people, right? And so you'd flick the switch on and turn the lights on. That works too. Why there are not reverse lights on most trailers, it doesn't make any sense at all. Go nowhere without your seatbelt. I agree. It's policy. I would say almost every company, 95% probably have a seatbelt policy. You should have your seatbelt on. I wear them anyway, and I recommend them. This is not sponsored by the National Seatbelt Council. Angry truckers, stop driving trucks with the retard system. Well, that's what the company has here. I think Freightliner shouldn't have a system that hits the brakes when I'm driving the truck. Cash is king. See, and I don't want to drive an old truck. Cash is king trucking. Autonomous trucks will eventually feel underappreciated and start a union-type group called Autonomous Trucks Matter. But no one will care. Well, what's going to happen with Autonomous Trucks Matter is probably 6 or 7 of these trucks, which will be all dirty and unwashed, will get together and close down a highway for like 15 minutes. And then they'll be on CNBC a few months after that. Michael Muller, I can't set my truck to turn lights on or off with wipers. Oh, that's true, right. If the wipers are on, the lights are on. Right, mine does the same thing. That's true. I never thought about that, but that's true. There's a video online of a guy confronting an England driver because he saw a guy going to the bathroom behind his truck, and liquid went under the guy's truck and said, look at steering wheel flip-flops. That's, I've always said, why are you wearing flip-flops at work? Alan Thorpe, what's up with the new hours of service? When are we going to hear something? All right, so I have this here. They are said now, Martinez, who's the head of the FMCSA, says July 31st will be an announcement. That's what he said last week. And he actually said that may not even be the day. He goes, we may have to go later than that day. And even so, if it's July 31st, then there's a 47-day comment period, which puts you into September. And he felt that there would be challenges to it from safety advocates and groups. And he said probably looking implementation of late winter of this coming year. So looking at January, February 2020. That's what he thought about that. And that's the head of the FMCSA. Crazy. It's going to be next year. These pickups hauling with high beams on. Well, some of these pickups are not made for the load they're hauling. They're putting like a 2,000-pound tongue weight, 1,500 pounds, and the lights are all up on them too, right? Which is just as bad. Death-proof trucks also utilize the killer environmental suit. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was a weird noise to make. Texas trader hotshots need to invest in rear airbags. Right. They're putting all this tongue weight on or this rear weight and I'll just do my F-150. No. Or Dodge, right? Because if it was a Ford, it wouldn't matter. But since they'll do a Dodge and it's never going to tolerate it. That started the Dodge Ford war. Andre, I work for a company that has forward and driver-facing camera. I don't like that. Everything in the truck is monitored by the company. Your throttle usage, speed, braking, turning. Yeah, you're being micromanaged from far away. It doesn't make any sense. You're totally being micromanaged by them. I don't like them facing you. If they're hiring somebody that has experience, that should totally be experience. That should be the experience with this. And of course, we're going to take a Blue Parrot break right now. Check out the Blue Parrot headset in your area. Sometimes I throw that in there, a Blue Parrot brake. Love it. But these cameras in these trucks, look, seriously though, if they're going to have you on the camera, say, hey, why don't you guys just come and drive the truck? And some of it is who's watching the camera on their end of it. Who watches the camera? Because I get people write in from different places. So they go, all right, nobody bothers me about it. A person wrote in from Martin Brower. They have driver-facing camera. He doesn't get any grief about it. They really never talk to him about it. No problems. Okay, but then I have people write in from other companies where they're on them all the time. You did too hard of a turn, too much of a left. That doesn't make any sense. I don't like that at all. Don't watch me every day. You take an 8 or 10 second shot of what I did. It doesn't make any sense. The White Knight, is anyone in Gary? No, there's no one in Gary. In fact, Dan, wrong movie. I meant Maximum Overdrive was better. That was okay. I like Trucks, though. I do like the Trucks movie. Very good. Glenn says all the Western trailer flatbeds have reverse lights. How do they turn on? Is there a switch like I've seen on some of them, or do they come on with the four-ways, or does it come on with the reverse lights? Kurt says CalArc, if they treat the same way you're at work as they do in orientation, then most would be set. Didn't go with them, but recruiters are A+. Part of the deal, right, if they'll just tell you the truth, people would rather appreciate the truth rather than them lying about stuff. Al says, Averett is offering $26 an hour in Memphis. Oh, I get it. Oh, I'll drive at night for $26 an hour. Do they pay overtime? Just curious about that. Sergeant Schill, hey, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Hey, Mark, sorry you're late. Wow. I've seen a couple of vids talking about trucks getting governed. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here today. There may be a law from Johnny Isaacson, who's 74 years old, Republican from Georgia, and Chris Coons, who's 58, Democrat from Delaware. Senate Bill 2033. You might have to govern your truck to 65, and that would include all trucks. Those 421, those fancy spread axle reefers have reverse lights all over the trailer. Love it. Why isn't there a snow melting element in the roof of the trailers? Well, some of them have those plastic roofs, right? They can make self-driving trucks, but can't figure out a way to melt the snow off. Yeah, part of that is true, but on a plastic roof, how would you do that on a plastic roof? Selling my Loves Points in Gary, 80 cents on the dollar. You have 1,000. Who's buying the Loves Points? The White Knight points. I don't know. How do you sell those points? In a former life, I was a firefighter, and I've seen too many times what happens when the passengers didn't wear a seatbelt. I wear mine just going down the driveway. I agree. Look, you should wear your seatbelt all the time. I wore it long before it was a law. And, I'm not some kind of seatbelt Nazi, but I do think it saves lives, and you should wear a seatbelt all the time. I agree. Now, backing in, seatbelt off, right? You can't see, whatever. For stuff like that, I get it. But down the road, put on your seatbelt, right? King Eric, another person from Martin, and you like it. That's the second Martin person today, and I'm glad you like it there. They are really doing better in the industry. Part of the good thing about a company is liking driving there. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter what they pay you if you're frustrated every day with your job. Michael makes 50 cents, and I think about it. Cash is King, Old Dominion driver that made 136. Was he hourly or mileage? He was mileage because he was doing line haul. He said he was doing line haul, but because of what he did, and he had several drop-in hooks, which they paid all that for, and he had to fuel the truck, which they paid for, all of that made up to 136. Not bad for a person home every day. Boani, flashers is a policy at England, but I cut lights when parking. Why? I'd ask them, why is that a policy? To just drive around. It's a policy to back up, not to just drive around. John, who got paid the most to the law to allow a company to train and test their students to give them a license? Yeah, that's on here too. There's third-party testing law now. The person that trains you can also test you. What that does, it cuts some jobs, of course. They won't need extra people. And they have every incentive to pass you on that, don't they? It should always be done by the state, really. But a third party that's not involved with the place that you're training. So there is, of course, some kind of trucking company training organization. I'm sure there is one that lobbied for it, and no one opposed it. And there it is. I didn't know anything about it until it came out, but absolutely. I worked as a service writer for both Chrysler and Ford. I can tell you right now that Ford is tougher. They live up to their slogan, right? We love our Ford, and I totally agree. What's going to happen when the hillbillies see a robot driving a semi? Well, the shotguns will be coming out down there. I'll tell you that. Kurt, how is the service politicians just waiting for more money from the big trucking companies? Yeah, I'm sure. But it does this kind of thing. The hours of service thing also, that doesn't make sense for them either. I mean, it's making it harder for them to get drivers. So I don't know why they like that. I don't know why they like the 65 miles an hour thing. It's making it tougher for them. So I don't know what they're trying to do on that. Comfortable man, micromanaged by someone who's never been in a truck. Exactly. Usually they're in the mid to early 20s. In other words, people have no clue. Yeah, that's the people they have that are going to tell you about your 12-second video clip or whatever it is about why you are not that good of a driver and, you should be talked to. Michael, they're going to make trucking a federal job. Yeah, they're halfway there, right? 421 anyone isn't. It's people that have never driven a truck that view the drive cams. Yes, at most companies it is. Very rarely do you find a company that says, no, we have drivers look at that and determine, if there was really a problem. It's almost never anybody that drives. It's some kid out of school or whatever. They're like, oh, hey, you are turning too hard here. King Eric, you still love Martin, huh? Great. Michael, you can get the truck and pigtail wired for it. Yeah, I was just wondering if it's a company, maybe it's a company thing, and so then they put it in reverse and it turns those lights on. That's better than getting out. But on a flatbed, that's one thing. But on a van, you're going back there anyway. So there's no reason they couldn't just put a switch, install two lights on the trailer with a switch, and it wouldn't have to wire the trucks in at all. It would work for anybody pulling the trailer. There's two electrical plugs on the trailers. When we put the truck in reverse, the nice bright LED lights come on automatically in the back of the trailer. That's great. I bet that helps a lot. And why other places don't do that after all this time is no reason, right? Why are they doing that? It doesn't make any sense. 4210, Averett has straight pay and no overtime. That's not great then, right? Video games and actual. I guess then you'd only want to work 40 hours if they're not going to pay overtime. So if Averett at 40 hours, then yeah. But, beyond that, I'd start to get a little aggravated by it. Jeff had one company tell me that it only comes on 10 seconds before an incident. And I responded, if it knows when something's going to happen, why won't it tell you? That's a very good answer, too. They always say, oh, you're not being recorded unless, there's an incident. Well, it's constantly recording you. Remember, the cameras are on constant record, and they just overwrite themselves after so many minutes, hours, or whatever, because they have a hard drive. Otherwise, they can't record in the past. So absolutely, or it has to know what's coming, and it should give you a warning. Mark, by putting heating elements in the plastic the same way they do in a windshield. Comfortable man, but they put a heating element in the top of a trailer. It's plastic. Your windshield's not plastic. You're heating the a glass, like by that, like Ford's old system which was actually on Lincoln. What did they call it? I don't remember. Right, Mark, you talk about stuff you don't know. Look, it had a thin metal film that let the defrost go up the thing. And but they could, I guess they could, but it seems like, with people beating them up, I just didn't think in a piece of plastic they'd be able to heat that. How much energy would it take to heat the top of a trailer, too? More electricity on trailers that can mess up. Well, how much power would you have to put through all those elements down 53 feet of trailer? Al Johns, Western Express is only going 60. Are they governed at 60? Not that I know of. Mark will have 6 months experience testers soon. Yes, absolutely. There's no reason you couldn't. You'll get testers with no experience because the 6-month ones will train the new ones. Most of the companies with cameras have a high turnover rate and a lot of micromanaging. Yes, it turns out that companies that don't trust their drivers usually don't treat their drivers as well as they could. Mostly. Now, Martin Brower pays pretty good, and I haven't had any other complaints about them. But most of these companies are these big companies, these mega carriers. They don't care. So, what's the difference? Most England drivers are called student drivers, but you have a CDL. Well, most England drivers are student drivers. If you're there 7 months, you become the CEO. I've seen Western Express going over 60. I think they do go more than 60. Too many rules cripple an industry. It makes it aggravating to drive, frustrating, and people don't stay. You don't want to come in, truck drivers especially, right? We're more independent. We don't want to come in and be told something like a boss. You can work in a cubicle for that. Steven, you must have a very understanding boss if he gives you all that time off to do what I do. Well, yes, they're very understanding over there. I rarely see the boss at work, to be honest with you. Jeffrey Herring, good afternoon to you. I hope your day is going well. Cash is King Trucking. I glued a picture of myself over the driver camera. Oh, that would be really great. I'm going to glue a picture of Tom Selleck over the cameras. That's what everybody should do. Cut out a picture of Tom Selleck and put it over there. John, what did I hear about letting those under 21, especially veterans, get a license? If you do one tour in the military, that's 4 years, and they're then 22. You can go 2 years in the military, certainly, and be 20 and get out. And it is for military veterans, 18 to 21, and they will be allowed to get a CDL. That is correct, and they'll be monitored. They have to have so many hours of training, and they have to go with another driver, a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit in the truck. They have to have a camera, which I love, right? They have to have a driver-facing camera. That's how they get their nose under the door, right? The camel's nose, as they say, under the tent, and that's how it works. Wow, Bill, a 40-hour work week is like a vacation. Yes, for you. When you're putting in 93 hours like you, though, absolutely. The White Knight, do we as drivers get paid our cents per mile in reverse? No, it comes off of your check. They write that on there and go, oh, you had 12 miles in reverse, so we're taking that out of your check. Al, you're cool with it. You only make $17.50. Oh, okay. Well, see, so you're getting a raise. That's the thing. If that's okay and you're going to get more money, then absolutely. Maybe the next Doing It video could be Martin, I guess, but Martin already has their own Doing It Better video. Angry Trucker, put a big magnet on camera hard drive and see how much data it saves. Yeah, I wondered if a magnet would, impact it, or if it's kind of blocked off in there. They probably thought about that. I bet that underneath there is a metal case. My temporary co-driver went on duty for a shower, also passed a fuel stop, and had to wait 5 hours for fuel at a way station. What the heck? I mean, there's a gauge on these trucks. They really, where I am and probably a lot of places, they don't like it if you run out of fuel on the road. They just don't like it. I have an open data card, which is really nice. And so here they really don't like you to run out of fuel because you can fill up literally almost anywhere you want. So it's a real problem. Angry Trucker, melting trailer snow will take 1,000 gigawatts. Exactly. If you melt that snow fast enough, you'll show up last week before it started snowing. Brooks and could I do a review of Werner? Yeah, I've tried to look into Werner. I can't get enough information about them. But yes, I'm trying to get Werner information. How many drivers do you think will hang up their keys at the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit law passes? Almost none. Every time there's a law or a regulation or anything, Drivers always say, we're going to quit driving. This is the end. I'm retiring. And almost none of them do it. Cash is king trucking. 26 an hour without overtime is still good. 60-hour week, 1560. I would say that's equal to 22. Well, I mean, look, it's good money. I'm just saying, I've always said over 40 should pay overtime. That's why I'm asking about it. Yeah, it's still good money, $1,500, but, it should be $1,800 for 60 hours at $26 an hour. That's what I'm saying. They should pay overtime. They just don't because they don't have to, and that aggravates me a little bit because some companies do pay it even though they're not required to. Al, 70 miles an hour is a good top speed, but the government won't limit crotch rockets. Yeah, you can go 200 on your motorcycle. Dope law. Could you consider Blue Water Trucking for a Doing Better video? What's the deal with them? What do you know about them? Why should they be on why should Blue Water Trucking be on there? And I'm writing them down right here. Blue Water Trucking. What is the deal there, though? I mean, why are they better than a lot of other places? I would think, John says, I would think Werner is the best of the worst. I think they have their good and bad points. Cash is king. If I got paid hub miles, I would jack up the truck and set a brick on the accelerator during the break. That's always the problem with this kind of stuff. But, if you get paid by the hour, you should do work. You shouldn't sit around and, milk the clock. That's stealing. You're no better than the companies that steal from us. If you're going to get paid by the hour or whatever, you got to do an hour's work, certainly. Video games and actual driving are two different things. People watching the camera to get out on the road with 40,000 in the box and tell me that I don't need to speed, not at truck driving school. Yes, the people, at least at these companies, should be required to go with a driver for the week. And not the best brown-nosing driver there, okay? A driver that has a lot of problems on their run every week. Go with that driver and see what it is out there, and then maybe they can talk a little bit better about it. You'd be surprised how just a week with a driver can change somebody's perspective of that. K-Dub, your girlfriend rode with you today, and she was amazed at how many people cut you off. It is amazing. And pulled out in front of me. Maybe all congressmen and CEOs should ride in a truck, too. I totally agree. They should try to find somebody that they can ride around with. Al says, you work for Werner, and they're typical. That's not great then, right? So they're just the same as all these. Are you saying they're the same as all these other large places? 421, if a driver meets the company hiring criteria, then shouldn't that be good enough? Why do companies have to spy on a driver and try to catch him doing wrong? I agree. The camera that faces you is only there to catch you doing something wrong. They always say, it's to save your job. It'll help you in an accident. Baloney. A camera facing the front, out the front, would help you in an accident. Not the one facing you. The one facing you doesn't tell if somebody went through a red light. Okay, and you should always run your own dash cam, always. But the one facing you is just to fire you. That's all it's for. And they can say whatever they want, and it's to spy on you because I did a video about the J.J. Keller drive cam. They can watch you in real time. They tout it on their own website as a selling point to companies. So they can watch you in real time. People can say what they want. They can't watch you. The camera maker says they can watch you. So they absolutely can watch you. Analytics, they can turn that on from their home base and get the 12-second clip or whatever it is, 15 seconds, and have that clip sent to them. They can't exactly watch real time, but they can hit a button and go, okay, right now we can do this camera thing right now. Have you done CFI yet? No, I do have their cell phone holder. I used to drive for them, and they told me I would have to start over them. My DAC doesn't exist, and 33 cents a mile. I'll tell them, no thank you. You can do better than that. I'll tell you right now, you can start better than that. Brooks Ann can help with Werner. I'm sitting at the Dallas terminal right now while your husband is with safety. All right, well, what is your opinion of the place? Do you drive there with him? And what is the opinion of the place? A wild Bell speaks and yells at his camera all day, and I'm not very nice with my choice of words. I'm sure they love seeing you on there. Danny says Blackledge Emulsion pays time and a half over 40. They should on demurrage. Company drivers are making $1,900 a week. That is excellent. Where are they from? 421 Suez has 80-mile-an-hour trucks. That's really fast anymore. And $32 an hour. Time and a half after 8, double time after 12, hotels every night. Wow, that's really good. That's even better. Sam Walton used to ride with his drivers. Yeah, that's when the place was good, like almost every place. When the founder is there, bingo, right? No problem. And Walmart, as a driving place, has only gone downhill from what the Walmart drivers that write to me in really the last few years. It was been really good. They did a bunch of changes, and the place went down the tubes there. And it's sad because it was always really, people knew that was a really good place to work. And now it just isn't. It's just your average large place. Yeah, they give you $10 a sleep or $20 a sleep in the truck. Big deal. Okay, it's still not a place that's worth it. Just because a place pays you more doesn't mean it's worth going there. There's something to be said for a place that doesn't bother you, that leaves you alone. All office workers should have to play 1,000 hours of American Truck Simulator. They should have to sit in that simulator. I saw that. I think it's U.S. Express has. They should have to go drive that thing around. I agree it should be paid cash is king out at Averett, but job would pay $22 if it offered over, and they would try to limit your hours. I don't think so. I've heard other videos of people saying, oh, if everybody got hourly, your hours would be limited. I don't think so, and here's why. The freight still has to be moved. You can't take a company like Swift, which I thought of as an example, because they said, oh, well, you'll work only 6 hours a day or whatever. No, because they have 16,000 drivers, so say a load that one person could do, they're going to have 3 people do to limit everybody's hours. They need 48,000 drivers. It's impossible to do. So they have freight that they have to move. They wouldn't be able to limit your hours. From what I've heard, just from people that are on overtime now at places, they're getting all kinds of hours and being called in extra to work. So I don't think they could limit your hours. Why wouldn't they limit your hours even if you're not on overtime? They still could limit your hours. The freight still has to move, though. That's the problem. They would have to limit their freight, and they don't want to do that. Dope law. Blue Water Trucking pays percentage, not by the mile. Pays overtime after 40. Dedicated lanes, off weekends, 20% 401k from the owner into your file, and not 1 or 2% like most companies. That's a really good match on your 401k also. I'm saying they're average. Good, okay, you could do better, you could do worse. Yeah, right. Middle of the road, just like, it's one of those companies like a lot of the large companies. I get it. These mega companies, like, put all their names in a hat, pull one out, and that's where you start driving. Right, that's exactly the impression I'm getting of them. That's why you haven't called back at Jeff. Yeah, just pick them out of a hat. Nothing stands out, and that's too bad. Companies should want to stand out so that they can get people. All these mega carriers, how many experienced drivers are going there? Almost none. The Critic, every time I get a drive cam event, it's because someone cut me off and because I didn't slam on my brakes to avoid the distance warning, even though they are speeding up and I'm reducing my speed. What do they say to you about it? So you get an event. This is a perfect example. What does the company say to you? And does the person that's talking to you have any driving experience? Danny says they're out of Gulfport but run the Southeast. Al Johns. Do you sit at the picnic tables outside the hotel and watch the people? Nice. They have picnic tables out there? Hey, what's going on at GP Transco? Thanks for coming in. There's GP Transco here. Waving back to you from down here. I hope you're staying cool because it is hot out. And you are in the brand new trucks, right? Kenneth, Mark, I'm now look at the background that you have behind you on the right side. South. Oh, is that you right there? Is that you? Hey, what's going on? Boston Mike, starting at Western Flower Express. Congratulations on next Monday. Well, let me know. Are you going to be leasing a truck there? Because their lease thing is not the greatest. I did a video about them. I believe I have a video out about them. Western Flyer, and I found their lease to be not wonderful. So let me know how it is, because I'll be updating these videos in the next few weeks of all these larger places, and I would like to update them and see maybe the places have changed. If a place changes their policies, I'm all for updating and say, yeah, this place has changed its policy, and now look at how good it is or whatever. I love that, because that's what the idea is, to kind of shame them into doing better. 421, most trucking company jobs that pay over 65 want to micromanage the driver and control your every move. Some do, right? It just depends on where you are. Some of the drivers here do really good that do long runs, all right? I don't do a long run, so I don't make as much as some of them. But, we have pretty good policies, or I wouldn't stay there. This is 17 years that I've been at one place, so I stay there because they treat you well. Al Johns, I used to love Werner until I started watching me. Then I started seeing all the time you weren't getting paid for, and that is the thing. And it's certainly not just Werner. All this unpaid time has to end, and I think the only way to do it is to get paid by the hour plus overtime for all the time that you work. And I don't think that companies can limit your hours to 3 hours a day or 6 hours. They can't. They have freight to move around. And how long would you work there? That's the other side of it. So You get out there and they give you 6 hours a day at $20 or whatever. You're going to quit in 2 weeks. They just can't. It's not possible for them to do. It seems like, oh, yeah, companies will do that. But they'd have to hire 3 times as many drivers. And remember, all those drivers, they need trucks. So they got to go pick up a few hundred, maybe a few thousand, $150,000 trucks. That's a lot of money. Bushido, right. Have I checked out Hogan for a crap company? No. Hogan around here at least seems to pay pretty good. And Hogan does so many different things. Every city, Hogan is a logistics company, basically. And so even in Indianapolis, where I mainly look at these things, they have different jobs. One pays $1,200, one pays $1,400. They have a straight truck job. They have all different kinds of things. Cash's King Trucking passed a GP Transco truck. I pass them on Friday all the time, headed back up to GP Transco while the drivers are going home. I think it's the same truck every week I pass, so that's pretty good. The Critic, my first driver leader, and the one I fired was the old safety manager. Yikes. He would let me slide in everything except for that. My new manager sounds like a young guy, and he said he used to drive. Well, at least he used to drive. At least that's something. And why? Oh, I should ask this too. What is the problem with Hogan? Are you there? What's the deal? When you ask that kind of stuff, what's the deal with them? The Critic, they would both just say that I got too close. We weren't allowed to be within 3 seconds of the truck, even though I tell them I'm 300 feet away. This stupid thing, this kind of thing is just maddening when they do this. Are you driving unsafe? If somebody pulls right in front of you, right, then that triggers an event because they're too close. Are they taking off from you? Are they slowing down? I mean, come on. This kind of thing, that's why people quit. It's almost never money. Sometimes I'll get those. I'm sitting a lot. Usually it's that kind of an email. They're doing this to me and I can't take it. That's what the companies need to realize. Fix that stuff and they wouldn't have to give you a raise. I mean, it's worth working at a place that pays less if they would just leave you alone. 421, they always have a solution for you when the camera records an event. Isn't that great? They always have a solution. And none of the people at DriveCam near your company ever drove a truck. Exactly. I assume most of them did not drive. That's the thing. GP Transco's on here. Hey, was it one of the teal ones? I love that color. I even commented to the wife about that. I just couldn't take it. Right. Brooks and Al Johns. Okay. They have a razor wire to keep them out. Oh, so they have razor wire to keep the lot lizards out. That's awesome. I don't even know what to say to that. How many of them are around there where you got to razor wire the place? I asked for an outdoor pool, but they got razor wire instead. Well, you got something, right? The ladies work the Terminal Pilot and Omar Express, so that's good that they branch out. You gotta have different streams of income. So they're following good, investing practices. You got to give them that. John, sitting on a load till the 5th because I did a favor to repower and let the driver go home, and now received. Don't want it till then. Nice. Next time office needs a favor, should you ghost them? Well, if I'm not at work, I don't take their calls generally, but that's me. And I aggravate them a lot. I would call. Why don't you call them today and say, hey, you're going to make me sit here until the 5th? Do you get paid for that? I mean, if they don't pay you, are you going to sit 4 days for nothing? That's crazy. I would call them and say, if you expect any more favors, I cannot sit all week for nothing. That's other than a holiday pay, if they even pay that. Bushido, Hogan out of St. Louis is a nightmare. That's the thing. What are they doing there, in St. Louis? What is the account and what's the problem? Brooks Ann says they have guaranteed pay for certain routes at Warner. See, that's the thing. These companies are changing their policies, so I'm going to be updating their videos. And a guarantee, that's the way to go. So that, like, if this happens right here, where you're going to sit till the 5th, you'd get $1,000 at Newsbound for that. Think about that, because it's $250 a day guarantee. Next time I go to the barber, I'm not paying. I'll tell him he gets paid to listen to you or not cut your hair. Let's see how he likes the trucking tactics companies use on driving. Oh, yeah. Right. Driver-facing cameras are slow and low miles. It's disappointing that these companies use them. So $80 for holidays, $400 a week for vacation. I don't like that either. A vacation should pay you a week's pay. Take a week off. You shouldn't have to get a pay cut. But see, that's so you won't do it. And a holiday should pay a day's pay, whatever you make a day, $200 or $300 or whatever it is. I got into a squabble with Prime Trainer in a comment section. Really? He got mad when I pressed him on Prime students hauling freight for free and told the new guys to go somewhere else. I bet he did. You get your comment deleted by him? Companies should pay drivers more if they get rid of those cameras. Drivers are professionals and don't need coaching. Yeah, why do I need a coaching call from an office personnel? Not interested in having to hear what you have to say. Our people in our office don't drive either, but, they pretty much leave you alone here, so it hasn't been a problem for me. If they were to start getting on that kind of thing, that would be a real problem. Michael, love saying you need a full set of trailer brakes. Of course, because they do what? They sell trailer brakes. Is that a company truck? I hope so. Almost went to Hogan, but they have driver-facing cameras. Do they have driver-facing cameras at all of the Hogans? Trucker Hershey doesn't know what that is. Yeah, that's from the past. Texas Trader, just wait. Soon it will be algos watching people as frontline driver supervisors. No people needed. I don't like this whole thing of people that are not driving telling you how to drive. Companies that don't do that probably do better with their drivers. It's really annoying now because your internal points are too high, and if they get higher, then safety can fire you. So now I'm slamming the brakes everywhere, and my truck is slow to speed up. I will say this, with this camera and these points, don't let the camera fire you, because you'll be fired for cause, a safety reason, and they can put that on your DAC legit. You're not going to be able to get that off. So if it's coming to that, it may be time to leave. It's something to think about, because you don't want to get fired. You don't want to get a situation where you're fired for these things. You can't get access to that video. Another thing might be to get your own dash cam, so you could have access to the same time slot, but usually it takes them a couple of days to get back to you on stuff. Even so, don't get fired over something that they say is a safety problem. You don't want that kind of thing to follow you around. It is really something to think about. Kenneth is picking up beer. I bet that load's going to be delivered before the 4th. The Critic, yeah, I got faulted for getting hit by a truck that was trying to pass me when I was able backing at the Flying J. Think about that. Well, this place, and you don't have to name it if you don't want to, but these kind of things, these micromanaging and all this stuff, it's going to end up firing you and hurting your career. Stuff that shouldn't hurt your career. It may be time over the holidays or whatever to really seriously think about moving on. Yeah, Kenworth, right? They got a razor wire. How many of them out there? I picture like a horror movie where the fence is just lined with them, shaking the fence, trying to get in. I mean, it's crazy. $20. Andrew, it's all about diversifying your talents. You have to diversify your talents, income streams. I mean, these women are probably putting out success videos. Bushido, Hogan's dedicated Dollar General is driver unload. Well, do you know that up front? I assume Dollar General is driver unload, and today, I cannot imagine how hot it would be today in the front of a van trailer, driver unloading. That's going to have to pay pretty good to get me up in the front of there and do that kind of work. John, you love your vacation time. You end up getting a bigger check than you do on a normal paycheck. That's good. I think we can all agree you should get at least a week's pay. That's all. I'm not saying people should get extra or whatever. If you're off for a week and have earned a vacation, you ought to get a week's pay. Most places do it. I would say over half I'm finding do that. This flat rate, that's how it used to be. I'm not finding as many places doing that anymore. Jim Hudson, he gave his driver code every minute. Wow, Bill, you've calmed down. Good. You were all fired up. Thanks, Mark. Maybe you don't have the worst job ever. No. What you do, not bad, right? GP Transco, curious to hear about your opinion about the automatic onboard recording devices soon no longer being compliant, and what will happen to the industry due to the trucking companies potentially struggling to convert to all ELD. It's going to be a big cost for the companies that were running these automatic onboard recording devices. That's what an AOBRD is. Everybody by December 16th, 17th this year has to convert to ELDs. It's going to be a big cost, and you're going to need to find a good ELD supplier for sure because of the cost involved in it. Now, we're almost done now converting the trucks to ELDs, and they're not great. I will say even the place that they choose is not a great place. It goes down. It doesn't work 100% of the time. I think it's a big problem when there's not one system that everybody can use. So I'm not a fan of it, and I think it's going to cost you probably a lot of money and a lot of aggravation. Make sure your drivers have a paper log because the things are going to go down in the road, and they're going to have to fill a paper log out. It's a disaster. All these regulations, are not helpful. People should always just follow the law anyway, ELD or not. Michael says some people are born to truck and others are not. And yes, it's a company truck. Okay, so you don't have to pay, and you get to hang out at the Loves. Now, are you going to be going in there and using your points? You can use your points for this, presumably. That should be almost enough points to get a helmet. Mad Maldy, I'll say this. We get a lot of drivers talking about coaching calls, and in the company's defense, I see lots of bad drivers. You all need some coaching. Some do, but drivers don't need to be coached on driving by someone that doesn't drive. Certainly, like an office dispatcher, and that's great that they're an office dispatcher. But I don't tell them how to dispatch. They don't tell me how to drive, and we have a pretty good relationship that way. Brooks Ann, you took my advice and had a lawyer send a letter to Trans Am. Over your husband's incorrect DAC. They haven't replied and won't return calls from the attorney. That's really something. They won't return an attorney's calls? Wow. Jeff Hudson, the razor wires for the zombie lot lizards. I'm really surprised about that. I guess it's time to ask the attorney what they think you should do next. Misty, Apex bulk pays time and a half over 40. That's good too. Overtime is the way to go, right? Cassius King, you passed a Sear England flatbed. Since when did England run flatbeds? So those drivers must have probably extra month of training. But seriously, since when did they run a flatbed? Angry Trucker, what is the difference between electronic log and AOBRD? An electronic onboard, automatic onboard recording device does not connect to the truck. It doesn't have to connect to the truck. It's just GPS based. Then ELD connects to the truck. It must be connected to the truck. So when the truck starts driving, it knows that from the truck itself. It connects all of the metrics from the truck to the ELD. That's how that works. The AOBRDs do not have to connect integrally into the truck. They only have to work from GPS. That's how it knows you're moving. That's why the ELD is only for trucks that are, newer than 99, because older than that, they're mechanical, and it doesn't read anything. Well, Billy, my company gives 45-hour pay weeks as a week's vacation. That should only be if you get 45 hours. I mean, if you average, say, 60 hours, you should get a 60-hour week as a vacation, certainly. Whatever you average a week should be a vacation week. It shouldn't cost you to go on vacation. John, my past experience with cheapo stores is that the loaders don't care and put the light crushable stuff on the bottom and heavy stuff on the top. It sounds like a lot of work doing that stuff. Oh, GP Transco, you are 100% ELD from the start, so you're not worried. Oh, good. Curious to see what many others do. That's the best way to do it. And companies, look, I don't know how many other companies watch or whatever. You need to get this ELD thing down now and figure out one that works. Because you can't go in the last second and buy one that's $10 or whatever, and then all your drivers are having problems. A company that's ELD from the start is going to have a lot less problem with this. And then drivers can stay compliant. The loads aren't late. I mean, you would think companies would want to do that. How does overtime on percentage work? You don't get it. You can only get overtime on your hourly. So maybe you could get percentage and a half. That'd be great. But no, percentage, you're paid your percentage. Michael says, Sear England hauls pods. Really? Remind me not to put my household goods in a pod. 421 Walmart was running flatbed to haul mulch. Really? So Walmart has flatbeds too? MG Jackson, we have the pending switch over. Have to see what happens with it. 100 tractors. That's not terrible. But they need to pick a supplier, for their electronic log that has been in business and plans to stay in business so that you don't have a problem because you don't want it to cost you. Chrome says England hauls pods in Georgia. Really? Why are the pods so expensive? Yeah, Cassius King, Sear England flatbed. Is that a 3-bunk flatbed truck? Oh, here's a question for GP Transco, which can get back to that. 420 companies that do the ELD, the driver's cell phone should be paying the bill. I agree. Don't use your phone for your company. Unless they pay you for it. If you went to rent a piece of equipment, that company wouldn't give it to you for nothing. And so if the company wants to use equipment from you, they should pay you for it. Absolutely. Say, here's the bill or whatever. They need to pay something a month to use your personal phone. Or they can give you a phone. How about that? That'd be fair, right? Okay, well, just give me a phone. That's fair. Kenworth, Sear England has a flatbed hauling those portable pods. I've just never seen them. So pods goes on England. Is there a disclaimer when you go to rent the pod? If they don't have a CDL themselves, they had no right to tell you how to drive. Yes, the people should be driving on the camera it should be drivers. Why don't these companies, it's always a large company or almost always, have a group of drivers that get together and look at these things and say, all right, this was really not safe, seriously. And so this is something that we need to talk about, or this is just a car that pulled in and that's why it went off. Not every video we go, oh, you need to do better. And then I got to get to my Bieber concert, so I got to take off. It doesn't make any sense. GP Transco. But don't want to fill Mark's chat with anything recruiting. Look, you're welcome to talk about whatever. People are asking questions. That's what we're here to get people, a job. No problem. If you want to answer here, or you can contact GP Transco. That's what we're here for. The Critic, you've seen England flatbeds as well? Great. Somebody send a picture of one of those. That's going to be great. I'm going to email pictures of the razor wire and ladies. Oh, that's good, Brooks Ann. I just started a new page over there called, I don't even know what the new page is called, right? Bad Truck Award. I can't even remember. Well, Mark, you start your own website, don't know the page? No. Anyway, there's a page of Bad Driving Award winners, something to that effect. We'll put it up there. I want to see all these zombie prostitutes trying to get through the fence. Afternoon, Mark. The 26th year with KLLM, and I'm out. You know any good trucking companies in Wisconsin? What's going up? Let's see what people say about Wisconsin. There's a lot of companies that hire out of Wisconsin as well. And I don't know. GP Transco might hire out of Wisconsin for all I know. Cash is King Trucking. You saw Walmart pulling flat. Man, I was thinking England didn't have flatbeds until they drove under a local bridge. Now they have flatbeds. Jeff Fudd said, CR flatbed, they would have 4 drivers to secure loads, now offering driver unloads on all loads. They could just, do they use the flatbed to transport drivers? I'm surprised they don't put drivers in those pods and bring them into their terminals. John, what about Amazon future plans to offer backhauls to their home terminals? That's going to hurt everyone. I don't think it will help. I guess I know there's a couple owner-operators on right now that could talk more about that. I don't know that much about the rates of it as a company driver. I try not to get too much into owner-operator stuff, but from what I've read, they're not paying great. But if people can take it, they will, they take it. So if they put a load out at 80 cents and somebody takes it, that's what the load is worth. Anything in the country is only worth what somebody will pay for it. So if somebody will pay that and take it, that's what they get. Wild Bill could use a job. Somebody please contact Wild Bill about a good job in his area. Werner is doing pods too. I thought pods had their own trucks. Michael Zell do great. Smith Transport. Yeah, Smith Transport would be great. They fly you at orientation. Oh, John says Martin as well, right? We've had a couple people from Martin on. Angry trucker office workers yell at you about your driving, then they get in their four-wheeler and drive like idiots. Look, I totally agree. We know our trainer here. We got a trainer here. He was going 104 in his personal car, so love it. Martin is based in Mondovi, Wisconsin. I think I will apply for a drive cam review job. That way I could tell the company, the driver did nothing wrong. How long do you think you'd be employed? Yes, not long enough to even get your seat cold on the Greyhound. All pod loads for CR England are pre-secured. Oh, really? So they drop the trailer at the pod place, and the pod place secures it. I never liked that. When I did a flatbed, I always, and I recommend this, check the securement. You don't know how that was. And they go, it's dropped, and there's a coil or a load of whatever sitting there, and it's pre-secured. You can't just trust that. I'm sure drivers do. I would never trust that. You have no idea who secured that load. You got to basically go out there and re-secure the load so that you are satisfied that load is sitting on that trailer. You cannot just take a preloaded flatbed. Long live feed today. Do I not have to make the company money? Yes, I always leave. We've got about 8 more minutes of this, certainly. Ryan says the Dixie Gypsy checking in from Rock Springs, Wyoming. Nice. 75, I wish. Running 80. Oh, that's going to end pretty soon, isn't it? Cash is King Trucking. Can I get my pod delivered to my house by non-CR England? Yes. Holy mackerel, yes. Please, can I have someone nod on the sexual registry? Thank you. 421, Wild Bill, there you go. Get a cryogenic tanker. Apparently, Wild Bill would also not qualify to work for TMC, so that's not good. Dan, can you tell me how off-duty personal conveyance is legally supposed to be used? Personal conveyance is used for just that. There's 2 ways to use it. You're going to the store, you're going to go to the movies or whatever on your free time, personal conveyance. Number 2, the FMCSA will allow you to use personal conveyance if your company allows it, okay, for all these. Like my company doesn't allow it at all. It depends on your company, or if you own the truck, it doesn't matter. You can go from the shipper or receiver to the closest safe legal parking place right there. So after you get loaded or empty, you can drive to the safe legal parking place that's the closest place to you on personal conveyance, as long as your company allows it. Other than that, it's not really allowed. Personal conveyance. A lot of people get tickets for it. Don't use it for things that it's not allowed for. The pods are full of beds so they can haul more drivers. Yeah, I think in the pod it's probably got just lined up with mattresses. Glenn, Lowe's flatbed DC only does gut wraps. What's a gut wrap? Responsible for preload securement. I don't know what a gut wrap is. It sounds like a great band from the 80s. Another thing with Hogan is they're mostly a rental company. Most of their white trucks you see are rentals, including their box truck. Well, I know, all I'm saying is around here they do advertise different kinds of jobs. That's why I'm saying they're really hard to pin down. I know just in Indy they do 9 different things. Dan, that's bobtailing as an owner-operator. Yeah, that's true, right? Michael, at Sierra England, they don't know better to check the load. You got to get out. I'll tell new drivers, old drivers, anybody. You cannot let a pre-secured any load unless it's sealed and you can't get in it. You got to open the doors. You get a flatbed. You got to get in there. You get a tank. You got to jump in that tank and see how high it's filled. Totally. You got to do it. Now we get, okay, Wayne, we're going to have teenagers eating pods again. Pods is going to be back in the news. What? I'm being told by the safety department, you do not have to open the tank and get in it and check its level. Okay, you do not have to do that. Leonidas, always double check. It's your responsibility. Yes. Flatbed loads, for sure. You don't know who secured that load. It could be somebody that just got fired from the Lytix drive cam company from watching drive cam videos. Cash is king. The pods have 8 bunk beds. No more Greyhound orientation. They use them to ship new recruits. Yeah, how much money would that save them? I've heard people tell me they have 75 people in an orientation class. At one class, somebody wrote to me, not that many complete it. Jeff, megacares are waiting for the clone Arby to show up and replace drivers. That's crazy. GP Transco says they do hire out of Wisconsin. All right, that's good. And even easier, you make 74 to 87, right, with insurance and benefits on a dry van. There you go. So check out GP Transco. Glenn Boatman, if the load is 3 tiers or higher, there's a strap on the first or second article. There's a lot of load securement things, which I'm probably not up on because I haven't done it in a long time. But it has to be secured properly. But look, if nothing else, you don't know who did the securing of that load. Brooks Ann, we have seen a lot of flatbedders at DOT stations lately. They're checking logs for tarp time and telling drivers to retarp. Yes. Tarping time is on duty time, right? Untarping, rolling up your tarps, that's on duty time. You can't put 5 minutes down or whatever on an ELD. That is not tarping. Okay, so I agree with these DOT officers. Retarp it for me in that time. Right, strap that down and retarp that. Grant Jeep, so we're going to drive 65. If Johnny Isaacson and Chris Coons have their way, they are senators, Senate Bill 2033 is going to make mandate all commercial vehicles have a 65-mile-an-hour speed limiter installed. Now, if you have an older one, 99 or older, you don't have to do it. But new trucks, owner-operators and company will be required to limit their trucks. Won't that be great? 421 drive cam reviewers eat attic insulation, wash it down with Tide Pods. They're delicious. Those blue and red and white ones for 4th of July that they have out there are delicious. Angry Trucker, can anyone recommend good load straps, but nothing that works in a smooth bore tank? Yeah, you got to be careful about strapping those tanks. It turns out you don't have to go in and check the height of the liquid in there. I haven't worked for a company that busts people in orientation since 2011. No idea they're still doing the crack on. Yes, a lot of places use it. You should get a flight, a rental car, or the Amtrak. I had one person said they got the Amtrak. So pretty good. All drive cams, and it doesn't matter if it's pointing forward, not only gets video, but they also record every word you say while they're in that truck. That is true. Look, the drive cam that faces forward, which I'm not as bad on, also does record sound. So they would theoretically hear you on the phone or whatever, certainly. At least they're not looking at you all day. But, if anything, you should just run your own camera, certainly. But the one that faces forward still has a microphone on it, even though they tell you it doesn't or whatever. They're still listening to you. They're still listening to you eat those tacos or whatever you're doing on Tuesdays. I'm climbing in my tanker as we speak to check the level of nitrogen. Yeah, you may want to just jump in and out of that one. Leonidas, any big plans for the 4th? No, not at this time. I had a Western Express driver tell me they lowered tarp pay to $25 and no untarp. Oh, nice. At least they could give you $12.50 each half of it. So if you pick up a load from somebody else and just go untarp, but they don't pay you anything, brilliant. I do have a clay bar kit for the cars, so I may go out and get the cars clay barred and cleaned up on the 4th, certainly, and all shined up. Do that, and the truck will also get a wax this summer, as it always does. Yes, I go in and wax the company truck. Trucker Hershey, I am working today, and I'm about to head out and make them some money, as a matter of fact. Did I get the call-in show figured out? Yeah, we did a vote on that. Not gonna, and the vote was voted down. Cash King Trucking, anyone else running the holidays this week? Yeah, sure, out working. Everybody, right. If my company wants to watch me and listen to me, and make sure they have something to see and hear, yes, I bet. I can only imagine the videos they get back from your truck. That must be a laugh riot, I'll tell you. I guess the Western Express should have submitted the good 5-star review. Yeah, I haven't found anything more about that. People suggested that Western was paying for those reviews. I can't find any information. I would die to find it something in writing and put a video out about that and blow that out of the water. But there's nothing. Nobody will admit anything. I can't get anybody to say anything. Nothing in writing. So I don't know what. There's nothing else I can do for it. Angry Truck will be out the 4th. Yeah, I'll be off on the 4th itself. Brooks and should companies pay drivers' cell phone bill? If we use it to transflow calls from dispatch, yes. I think if they use it for their purposes or make you use it for transflow and stuff, then yeah, absolutely. They go, you got to send your bills for your phone. What if you don't have a phone? So they either need to give you a phone or need to pay not the whole bill, but a part of the bill, certainly. If they're using it for their purposes to make themselves money. If they don't give you any other option but to use it to transflow, then sure. Why would a dispatch, shipper, all that's, yeah, they ought to pay part of it, not the whole bill. Kenworth Rider, the bull haulers are really love being restricted. I think they'll get an exemption, just like the bee haulers. I think just like they have the restriction now, or the exemption, they'll get one for that too. Bull wagons are usually older. Yeah, even so, they're going to get exempted because they're going to say, look, we can't slow down because of all that. Right. K. Wayne, exactly. Wax on and wax off after clay bar on and clay bar off. Michael, your son and you are going to be trucking on the 4th. That's great. 4211 is about to put the Blue Beacon out of business. You're open Daisy Duke's truck wash. Well, or will you put razor wire around it? Wild Bill, you're working on the 4th also. Oh, well, that would pay good. No 5th on the 4th. Not if you're working, certainly, right? Don't get into any of that. Don't haul fireworks in your truck or anything. I think that's a big problem. Well, especially around the 4th when people do that. I am going to head out and make the company some money because I'm working this week too. I'm not off this week or anything. So that's what we're doing. There'll be more videos and stuff this week though, as usual. Thank you everybody for being here as always. And I'm clicking buttons that I'm not good at that. Okay, there, I'm back to that. Carter Express is putting drive camp facing out. The driver but not the sleeper. Yeah, because no one's going to tolerate that. Been with Fraley and Schilling 5 years. It's home. Yeah, some places do really good, right? Once you find a good place, you stick it out. You stay there, and the longer you're there, the better it gets. Anyone been to the Daisy Duke Cafe? I've never seen it. Michael, yeah, be safe. Keto Walk Fit Double Pay on the 4th. That's great, too. I wish. I'll be off that day. Just regular holiday pay for the day off, but getting double is also great. Everybody be safe out there today, and thank you, everybody, for being here as always. Al, thanks for being here. I see that on there, and but I have to go make the company some money. They still want me to come in. It doesn't make any sense. Either way, if anybody's got any more of the England stuff, boy, that'd be great. On a flatbed, never seen it. Nothing Western paying for their things. I just haven't found anything about it. The Angry Trucker, don't blow up too much stuff. No, we'll be the cat will be all freaked out, so we'll be in with the cat that night, certainly. It's 81 in Tennessee. I will check that out. What are the trucking lobby doing about the 65? They're all for it. There's some lobby groups that are for it. American Trucking Association, the Trucking Alliance, not the ATA, okay? They weren't on it. The Truckload Carriers Association, Trucking Alliance, they're on board. So they're on board. It doesn't make any sense to me. John, thank you. Thanks for being here today. Kay Wayne, everybody be safe out there. And I'm going to go head out to work. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.